Okay, and we're live, I think. I'm gonna double check real quick. Make sure everything's running smoothly. Aha! Okay, yes, we're live. Hurrah! Okay, yes. And everybody can hear me. Okay, great. Alright, so first, I want to say I meant to do this a couple days ago, but sometimes you just get stuck in social situations and you can't leave. So that's what happened. And then the next day it rained and I was just tired, so I didn't feel like it. And then the third day I wanted to hang out with my mama. So I spent time with my mom. And today I decided to relax for the day and do the stream now. So I decided I wanted to share my experience. I've been thinking about doing this stream for a while. I also have wanted to talk about it for a long time too. I went to Japan last year in August of 2024. I went to the Tokyo area, and the where I stayed in the Tokyo area, so like in America, there's like New York City in New York, right? There's like a small piece of New York in the big state of New York, right? Well, Tokyo is similar to that. So like there's the major part of Tokyo as a city within the whole like section of Tokyo. And I stayed in a place called Flex Stay in Shin Igota, and that's like right on the outskirts of the city, so it was affordable to me. And if you're like a single traveler, I highly recommend, because the cost for me, I believe I had a friend that I met when I went there that helped me out as well, so I did have some benefits and advantages when I showed up, but like I highly recommend it because it's affordable. And I think like 2 weeks was between $300 to $600, in American money, in USD. So that was the first thing I liked. So not only was it my first time traveling out of the country, well, by myself. As a young child, my family used to travel to Canada. So I've been technically out of the country in the US before, but I've never been overseas. And it was my first time going overseas. It was also my first time flying, and um, oh, we're gonna snooze this one. Okay, so it was also my first time flying, and because I'm crazy, I wanted a nonstop flight straight from America to Japan. And I'm someone who likes to track flights in advance, especially through Google Flights, because then I track the prices as they go up and down, and I hopped on it as soon as I saw it got as low as I think $1,200 for a round trip flight. The way there was a one stop, but the way back was a two stop. So it was an interesting experience, but it was also my first time flying as well, so I had no idea what I do. My friends would tell me about what it was like being in an airport and the customs and the security checks, and so it was an interesting first experience for me to start with. I flew out I flew out in New York, JFK in New York. I had a friend drive me to the airport because it was cheaper for me to go to that international airport than it was to like jump from airport to airport to start with. So that's how it began a little bit. Um, I stayed in Shinigota. It was weird though, because in our sites and stuff, it was Shin Ikoda, but in their country it's Shin Igota. So that was interesting to see. It was a weird mistranslation, but I made it there just fine. So That was nice. Like I said, I met a friend there at the time, and he was a Japanese, or he is a Japanese native. Okay, and so I learned things from him, and one of my favorite things about Japan is that everything was so convenient. But mind you, I was also in Tokyo, so like Tokyo is a major city, right? So I didn't really go to I didn't really go to the like more countryside when I was visiting. I wasn't there quite yet. So I went to Tokyo. I stayed in that area roughly, but I did visit a few different places. I really loved the convenience the most. My favorite thing about Tokyo was the public transportation. I absolutely loved it. I love how simple it was to get the ticket, how simple it was to get through the gates. Um, some people are questioning or want to question like what it was like because they hear about like the sardine squishing of humans inside the train, right? When I went, it was actually a holiday. It was a holiday in August, and it was a lot of people had time off, so they enjoyed it. So it wasn't really overly crowded at all. But I also stayed a little longer, and I near the end of it is when everybody had to go back to work, and when everybody had to go back to work, that's when the trains started to really fill up. So a poor couple, I like fell into them and stepped on their feet because I couldn't find a bar or like a handlebar on the top or like a bar on the side to reach at all. And the this is one of the few times that the subway like jerked and I kept falling into them. I had to apologize. And then finally people got off and I was like, "Oh, bar." And I grabbed it. Um but yeah, so that was my favorite thing was the transportation. And oh no, I think I'm glitching. I don't know what change for sorry. It shouldn't be, but it might be. Maybe it's too hot. I can tell it's trying. Yeah, I think my computer's. I need something to put this off. Let's see. Oh, we'll see. Oh, hopefully this helps. Don't. It's still lagging. So better. I think it's doing better. Why are you lagging? No. Why do you lag when I'm speaking to the people? Is it working? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that it's lagging. It looks like my computer looks fine, but my phone says I'm still lagging right now. I was lagging hard. Thankfully, I caught on to the lagging pretty fast. So nobody's missed some information. There's gonna be an ad break in like a minute. I might just let it go to ad break so then I can continue what I was saying. If you hear weird things, it's because I'm on my phone looking at myself, trying to make sure it's working. So, is it, okay, is this, it sounds, oh my goodness, it lagged so hard. I think I overheated my computer and it's like, I'm shutting. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry that it's lagging. It looks like my computer looks fine, but the phone says I'm still lagging. Is it working? I was lagging hard. It's still lagging on my phone. Thankfully, I got it. Oh, okay. So, okay. Nobody's supposed to. Ad starts in 1 second. There's gonna be an ad break. Give me a minute. I just need to go to ad break so then I can continue what I was saying. If you hear weird things, it's because I'm on my phone looking at myself, trying to make sure it's working. So, okay, it sounds, my goodness, it lagged so hard. I think I overheated my computer. It's like, I'm shitting. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm in a paradox. Okay, so I can't tell if I'm still an ad. Oh, okay. It's ending in like a minute. Okay, good. I'll wait till the ad is done real quick before I continue. Or maybe that doesn't matter because the video will. Maybe that doesn't matter because the video will be. Ow. Maybe it doesn't matter because the video will be posted later anyway. But. Well. I'll give it a minute. I'll spend a minute trying to think of what I was saying. I remember I was talking about how I loved the public transportation. It's just so convenient. It is so convenient and I absolutely loved it. And I was in the Tokyo area, so like I wasn't in like the countryside area, so those might be different than where I was. Um yeah, I got like 30 seconds of ad left, so I'm gonna let the ad go real quick. And then I want to continue what I was saying. Okay, it says ad break ended. Um, but for some reason, like in the past, it said sometimes that the viewers would like trickle in or after the ad break on my side. So like I think my notifications are like a little further along in time frame than a lot of the viewers. But anyway, so going back to what I was saying originally, so I was in the Tokyo area, so the public transportation might be much better in that area than like the countryside is what I was kind of getting at for a point. And but I loved it. That was probably like my number one favorite thing. And when you do the transportation, especially for the public transportation, I personally really like the train. Okay, I like how easy it is to get the ticket. You look on the map, right? There's a map of all the subways, and at first I was confused because there were numbers on it, but it didn't say if the numbers were yen or if the numbers meant like that was the station kind of thing. So I didn't understand the map when I first went there. And my friend at the time yelled at me because I kept overpaying the thing, but whatever. Extra money for the company, whatever. But um so I was confused by the map at first. So the numbers on the map, even though it doesn't clarify that it's yen, or maybe it does and I just couldn't read it, right? In like small text or something somewhere. But the numbers mean yen. So it would tell you how much it costs to go from one place to another, or at least for the ticket from where you currently are to get to that destination. I definitely recommend just doing it from station to station first, unless you like, or if you could see the station on the map, like if it's like three rides down, then do that. But if you don't see your location on the map, then I recommend going as far as you can first with the ticket price, and then get another one at that station for where you're actually going. And it was pretty easy. One thing I can say is that like a lot of so one thing they say like in YouTube videos and stuff and like online stuff, right? They're like you should speak a little Japanese. And from my experience it was a little interesting because, well, one, I'm already studying Japanese, so I know basic, right? I'm not conversational level yet, but I know basic to get by, like where's the bathroom, my name is this, I'm this many years old, like all the simple stuff, right? Um, but so um, in terms of language, okay, for the train stations in like major areas, there's like English signs everywhere. They're literally everywhere, okay? And the machine you get your ticket from has an option for where you can put it in English as well. So there's a lot of English in Japan in the Tokyo area. However, restaurants would be more difficult for you because the menu, if you go in a restaurant that has the tablet that you order off of, because restaurants, there's a few different kinds of things you could do. They have the tablet you can order off of, and when it's ready, it gets delivered to you. And that has an English option on it. There's also like a button on the table side that you can press when you're ready to order, but you know, those restaurants, you probably should know some Japanese. It might be hard for you otherwise, okay? And many servers might have an English menu. I didn't really experience receiving an English menu, but maybe it's because I was with someone Japanese, so I didn't really get that. However, from my experience from servers, they don't really know English, and it shouldn't be expected. The country is Japan. They speak Japanese, so like as a respect to the culture, know a little bit, at least, and at least say I want this or like this, please. On the menu and point at it, right? That's all they need. Okay. Um, so that part was fine. It got by just fine. It was a good language learning experience for me too, for some stuff. So it was nice to hear. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I kind of wanted to start from the beginning, but my brain kind of goes all over the place. So work with me. So I said I flew out from New York, right? It was my first time flying, okay, for one. So I'm also someone who suffers from motion sickness, okay? I'm not someone who like vomits or anything, but I get very nauseated and dizzy, and I just like, my little asthmatic lungs as well will like kick in the gear when I'm actually struggling with motion sickness. So I because I've never flown before, I didn't know if my motion sickness would be triggered. So I prepared ahead of time just in case it did happen. One, I can confirm my motion sickness does get triggered. So if you're someone who suffers from motion sickness like I do, I suggest preparing for that in advance. I heard rumors, or I saw online that often those motion sickness tablets or something that people bring often get thrown out because it's not from like that little pharmacy or place in the airport or whatever. But I'm a preferred homeopathic and naturalist, so, or like, not, I'm not like a full-on naturalist, but I prefer homeopathy and naturopathy first. That's why I have a degree in alternative medicine. So I bought ginger tablets, and to them that's like a food supplement. It's not like medicine, if that makes sense. So I bought ginger tablets ahead of time, and ginger helps with motion sickness, nausea, morning sickness, and so many other things. Okay, so I took 2 tablets before I got on the plane, and it worked wonderfully. And I had to wait, I think, like, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours or something before I took another batch, I guess. My flight was 14 hours long, okay? It was a nonstop 14-hour flight. So I was fine most of the time. The turbulence was fine. I was on a big American Airlines plane. It was 3 seats, 4 seats, 3 seats with the plane I was on. I did basic economy, but I purchased a window seat, and boy, I learned that was a terrible idea. So I thought I'd want the window seat, right? To look out the window, be all excited, but then it was weird because I might have enjoyed it. However, it was my first time flying, and then I realized like the most of the view is just clouds. Okay, at least when I went, I sat next to children, and most of the people on the plane, because it was such a long flight, they chose to sleep or try to sleep on the flight. So a majority of the windows on the plane were down. And I didn't want to be that one jerk opening the window that's super bright and sunny inside the whole cabin. They tell you to bring blindfolds for that reason, but I didn't want to be the center of attention for doing that, right? So I chose not to open the window. And I felt bad when the children finally fell asleep because I was already sleep deprived because I thought if I was sleep deprived, I would fall asleep, and that was also a mistake. I know for next time that I'm going to sleep a lot before even getting on the plane. So, uh, I I also, when I realized that the window seat was a terrible idea, it was because anytime you have to use the bathroom, you have to go across the 2 seats, and I didn't want to wake the kids up when they finally passed out. So it was a rough flight for that particular reason. Um, I haven't been tested for arthritis, but I have a sneaking suspicion that I have it, okay? I think I have early onset, right? I can't confirm it. I've never been diagnosed or tested for it. However, um, I often get joint aches with weather when the pressure changes in the weather, and like my hip always bothers me. My right side of my hip always bothers me, and just like other random things. Okay, and with the flight, my brain went to a lot of my hip because I could feel it strongly when the altitude changed. So if you have arthritis, plan for that too, because you definitely feel it if you've never flown before, like myself. Okay. Um, and then so we landed in Tokyo with the plane, and when I got there, well, like I said, I flew out of New York, so I experienced going through the airport, and it was a lovely airport actually. I really liked it. Um, and we went through. I'm sorry, I don't know airport terminology because it was my first time, and I'm still learning many of the words. The like it's like a tube. You go to the gate, and then there's a tube you go through to get into the plane, right? So in Japan, um, when we landed in like the airport parking lot. Okay, we landed in the airport parking lot, and I thought that was so weird. I was very confused. I didn't understand why we weren't going up to like the gate, like, to get off. So we landed in the, like, airport parking lot. They had, like, this stair ladder thing brought up to the door of the plane. We had to get down. We had to get off in the parking lot. So, and that was the weirdest experience for me, honestly. And so we get down, right? And the building is just a smidgen too far away. Okay, so they have a bus ready. They have a bus ready for the people who get off the plane to go into. And being a spoiled American that I am, okay, that was an experience alone as well, because where I live, buses here, like, everyone has a seat. Nobody stands on the bus. That's weird. That's where I'm from, though. Maybe some other parts of America have like people standing in the bus, but where I come from, it does not do that. So we all have a designated seat, and if the seats are full, you wait for the next bus. All right? So we get off the plane in the parking lot, and then we go onto a bus. And this was a first experience for me, standing on the bus while it was driving. I was like, that's dangerous. Abunai, dangerous. Because the bus it was so full from the cabin of the plane, right? So everybody's all scrunched together on the bus, and everybody had to, like, just hold on to something, and then the bus took us to, like, the airport section, and then we go in, and it was a little weird, because, you have to go through customs and stuff, so you go in, and then there were these people with, like, a kiosk, and you go to them first. They look at your passport, and then they let you go through the line, and then there's a table. Oh, I went to Haneda Airport, by the way. There was a table, and then you had to fill out information on a card, like where you're staying. So there's going to be an ad in a minute. I'll try to stop talking around then, so if there's viewers in here, or maybe I'll continue talking, because I doubt the ads will follow with the videos, right? So I'll just continue talking, actually. But anyway, so there's a table, and you fill out this information card before you go through security, right? So I filled it out, and they do have free Wi-Fi in the airport, but if mind you, it's a heavily populated area, okay? So when there's a lot of population, that also means there's a lot of service being taken up, right? So usage is being taken up. And it took forever to get connected to the public Wi-Fi at the time. And I used Soccer Mobile, and I'm glad I did, and I will be doing it again. Before I went, they have pocket Wi-Fi, or like SD, or QR code option for your cell phone, depending. I have an iPhone now, so I'll be doing the QR code because I have it unlocked now. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So you have to fill out the information, and not only did it take forever to connect to the Wi-Fi, which took me longer to get through security, I didn't know the address or the phone number of the place I was staying. I knew the name, the location, and I didn't know the other information. So, if you go, definitely have the name, the location, like the address, the phone number, and all that information ahead of time, because you're gonna need it. And then I went through security, and I don't know, maybe the guy I got in the gate I went through was timid, maybe, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think they speak English very well, or if they do, it's very broken. So, do your best with gestures. Gestures, I've learned, go a long way in the country, and because they're high context culture, I think the gestures are impactful that way. So yeah, that was the start of my experience. I keep moving the computer around. So that was the start of my experience. I got to the hotel. It was more, they call it an inn. Um, it was sort of like a hotel. It's definitely, Japan is a small country, so definitely compared to America, the room is smaller. It's probably just enough for maybe one person or a couple, okay? Um, it's not, but like I said, where I stayed, they called it an inn, so it was affordable and convenient, basically. I don't know about any other fancy places though, like if I went to the Hilton or something over there. I didn't have that experience, so I can't discuss that. Um, but yeah, the transportation I really liked. That was like my top favorite. The convenience, it's always punctual and on time. Very rarely let's see, the restaurants were fun to experience, and it was funny because one of the times I went to a ramen shop, and it was interesting. It must have been like an old school ramen shop, just like a one-stop shop kind of thing. You go in, get what you want, and you leave. Um, and they had like, I'm gonna get to vending machines in a minute, but it looks like a vending machine, but it's what you click to order, and it was old fashioned. It was just a button, and what it did it is it would like print your order, and you give your order to the chef. Is where I was, and I I apologized to the guy that served me because he gestured to me. He knew I was a foreigner, right? So, being a foreigner, I was treated like a foreigner, okay? And I have a ditzy side too, okay? So that didn't help the situation. So he showed me what to get. And one thing that I was intrigued by is I knew what I wanted. I wanted ramen and I wanted gyoza because it's called gyoza in Japan. And they had an option of three-piece gyoza or five-piece gyoza. And it was interesting because he kept trying to convince me to do the three-piece, not the five-piece. And I'm like, no, I want the five-piece. So I'm assuming he was trying to be considerate of me as, I don't know, maybe a woman and considering weight references or something. I don't know. But he kept like trying to convince me to do the three-piece gyoza for some reason instead of the five-piece. I was like, no, I want the five-piece. Um, and I got the ramen. So first thing, the ramen was delicious. I loved it. Um, it wasn't what I expected. It wasn't actually any noodles in the ramen. It was bean sprouts. I actually liked that for that reason because it was a lot of vegetables and that's a healthier option. So I actually really enjoyed that. I didn't. I was surprised that it was bean sprouts instead of noodles, though. I didn't expect that. But it was a pleasant surprise. And now, so many things online talk about portions, okay? They say that Japanese have smaller portions, okay, compared to American portions, okay? Now, from my own personal experience, when I went out to eat in Japan, okay, Americans do have large portions, all right, but the portion goes on one single plate, okay? It's one single plate. In Japan, the portions are almost the same size. Okay, it's practically the same size. My ramen bowl was gigantic. You'll see it in this slideshow because I'm gonna show you guys some pictures. that I took in Japan in the slideshow. But like you'll see it in that slideshow how big the bowl was compared to the gyoza next to it. Like that's your size comparison because the gyoza was a normal size. All right, so Japanese portions and American portions are almost identically the same. Almost, okay? Americans plate it on one solid plate, so it looks gigantic, okay? Japanese people, they put them in dishes. So they're each separate little dishes for many things. Um, and the portion amount is the same. However, the way they eat is they only eat until like they're 80% full. So technically with their culture and how they eat, the portion is less. But in terms of the serving, like being served to you, the portions are the same. Okay. That's only with food though. When it came to drinks, okay, my spoiled butt missed having large size drinks, okay? They have normal water bottle sizes in vending machines and stuff. But like menus in the restaurant didn't really have a variety of options for drinks. It was like water, barley tea, and different versions of alcohol. And that was really it. There was nothing else. So if you plan to get a drink at a restaurant, I suggest maybe going to somewhere that serves drinks instead. Later, like a smoothie shop or something known for juice, or going to the vending machine because you're limited you're limited in the restaurant. It's because like in America we have milk, hot chocolate, tea, chocolate milk. I already said milk. Juice, sodas, alcohol. Like we have a variety of drink options. Okay, they choose from limited, and that might be partially because they do more of the healthy dieting lifestyle. So it might be partially that reason too. Um, but portion sizes in terms of food are the same. But they eat differently than we do. So they technically, with how they do eat smaller portions, but in terms of how it's served to us as individuals, the portion sizes are the same. Okay? I can't tell you how many times I ordered a meal and I couldn't finish it. There was so much rice. I was too full. And my friends, they often claim me as someone who eats all the time. I snack throughout the day, okay? Um, so, but like, I couldn't finish my meals and it was a lot. So I want people to understand that when they go over, especially if you're an American, okay? Secondly, drink portions or drink types are limited in the restaurants, and drink portions are tiny, okay? The drinks are tiny. I don't understand why the drinks are tiny. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's okay. It doesn't matter because, I adapted. I adapted with the country. So now another thing is, you know, I often ate out because where I was, I mean, they did have an induction stove. They had like one single induction stove. Okay. But I don't really cook that way. Like, I imagine I'm like, how can you cook with one tiny induction stove and only one pot? I'm like, I'd be having soup every day, for me personally, okay? And I went in August, and I recommend nobody, none of you, do not go to Japan in August. It is so hot. And it's not just hot. Like, if it was just hot, I feel like it's easier to manage. It was hot and humid and really sticky. Like, your skin turns sticky as soon as you walk outside, okay? Like, it hits you. Like, a wall of humidity hits you right in the face as soon as you open the door. Don't go in August. It's an awful time of year to go. And that's the time I did go. So, anyway, The other thing with restaurants when I was in Japan is that I didn't understand how takeout worked or if that was even a thing over there. Like some restaurants, it looks like they don't even do takeout. Okay, so I would do your research ahead of time if you choose to go eat out because I don't think a lot of restaurants there give you like the goodie bag or the box to take your food with you. They kind of just clear your plate. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. If you do take out, make sure you find a place that does it. And also, I was a little intimidated to bother trying takeout because, most places that do takeout, they call out the order number in the ticket. And I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to understand the Japanese well enough to know when my ticket is called. I did do a takeout order once, and I didn't know if it was mine, and I like opened the bag, and they're like, no, 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 no. For for me. I didn't open the meal. I was just curious if it was mine, so I was looking, but there was too many things for it to be mine. And and then I think they rushed my order like they're like, "Oh, get her out of here. She's gonna keep looking in everybody's bag," is what I think was going to happen. So, right after I did that, they just hand delivered me my order and I left. But yeah, so takeout is a little hard, honestly. So, I think if you're gonna eat out, you should just like go to the restaurant and eat out and stay in the restaurant until you're done and like comfortable, okay? Um, oh yeah, one part I missed that when I landed and on the bus when I was traveling to my inn or the place I was staying at, um, I took the train and often you give up your seat for somebody who's older. That's the respectful thing to do, or if they're pregnant, have a family, and so on. It's just common sense stuff, guys. Like we do that here in America. Like if they look like they can't, well, unless you're stubborn about it or you're just lazy, okay? um, we do that here. Like we'll give up our seat for somebody older who's pregnant. We do that here. It's just common courtesy, common sense, common courtesy, okay? Um, and there was an older woman that my friend gave up his seat for, and I just got up to stand with him. Someone else could take the seat. I didn't mind. But then she like tugged on my shirt and like gestured me to sit down and she's like, "Where are you from?" She was trying to speak English, which was really cute. So I thought I would try to meet halfway and speak in Japanese. And then it's funny because her husband or something at the time was like a university professor in America or something, and um she was speaking to me in English to, talk and get practice in because, she doesn't do that in her country that much, right? And I practiced with Japanese, and then it's funny because, like, to her, that's just like she understands it easily. It didn't click right away that I was speaking her language. And then she's like, oh, "You know Japanese?" And I was like, "A little." But, like, I didn't understand the concept of polite, casual, and impolite conversation yet. So instead of "skoshi," I said "choto," and that makes a difference in terms of their age. So, like, I should have said "squishy" because she's older than me. But anyway, so yeah, that was a nice first experience when I landed because it was my first time in Japan, and she wanted to talk to me. It was cute. Um, so yeah, and then so restaurant wise, that was most of my experience. I don't know if I missed anything. There was one morning where I kind of just wanted, like, I didn't mind having a different kind of breakfast, that's fine, but like, I just craved like American breakfast of some sort. Like, I really wanted like a fruit salad kind of thing for breakfast, and I had a hard time finding that. Okay, so excuse me. I looked on my phone to see what places would have these options, and um, there was a place called Sarah Beth's. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna travel and see if I can find this place. And I went to look for Sarah Beth's, and it was like the train station that I went to. Eventually I started getting comfortable where I could walk without using my phone for a map at the time. But there was a train station out, and I took it to get to where I was going or trying to go. And the station was like its own little mall. It was interesting. There was like things it like how the airport has like little shops and stuff. The train station had that too, and it said Sarah Beth's was in that area, so I'm looking around for it. Can't find it anywhere. I don't see any signs anywhere for it. If they do, it's tiny and like invisible. And I got frustrated enough where I'm like, you know what, I give up. I'm just gonna wander around and do something random now. But I was hungry, so I was also grumpy. I'm a hangry person. I get grumpy when I'm hungry. Um, and I, um, I gave up, and then I was like, I wonder what's up these escalators. There's escalators everywhere. Okay, they use escalators all the time. They're all over the place. So I gave up. I was like, I want to see where these escalators go, and I went up it to see what was up there, like if it was a store or something. And guess where I ended up? At the top of the escalators was Sarah Beth's, which is what I was looking for. So it was hard to find because it was on the top of the escalator, but it was the food I was looking for. It had like a yogurt parfait with granola, it had pancakes, it had bacon, eggs, typical Western style breakfast. And it was cute. It was like dressed up like a cute little, kind of like a little English cafe. It was really cute. Um, and I was so proud of myself in that moment because I have allergies, so I wanted to let her know that I had an allergy to nuts. And seeds and stuff are okay, but I didn't know the words for seeds, so I just let her know. And I pointed at the menu what I wanted to order. If I remember right, I think their menu was weird. They had one of those QR code ones. You know, I've worked in the food and business or food and beverage industry for many years, and I'm gonna tell you, I can't stand the QR code menus, okay? You know, I don't want to say like I'm fully old fashioned, but like I understand that QR codes are necessary and like adapting to the younger generation. However, that's excluding the older generation. Do both. Like have the menu and the QR code, not just one or the other, all right? Anyway, so I ordered what I wanted. She came back out, let me know. So I was like, okay, I'll take this instead. And she's like, okay. And I enjoyed the breakfast. The bacon was more like Canadian bacon. It was like ham, more so, okay? It's not like American crispy bacon. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it. And I got up to pay for my order after my meal because I didn't understand if they would come to you. I don't think they come to your table at all for the bill. You go up to them to pay. Okay, like everywhere. You go up to them to pay for your food. And I it paid for it and went through just fine. Then I asked if everything was okay and they said yes, and then I started to leave, and then this poor server boy is chasing me outside of the restaurant before I head down the escalator to leave. And he's like, sign, sign, is what they say for the signature. They wanted me to sign my name. But I was like, oh, I asked if everything was okay. But there was a loss in translation and like language barrier there. However, it was okay. It was fine. Everything worked out. So that was another interesting experience. Now, I want to talk about the bathrooms. Okay. So, one major thing that many Japanese like to ask about is American public bathrooms because we have like the 6 inches that are open on the bottom of the stall. So, one thing if there are Japanese people who are watching, is that is a fire escape. Okay? So if a fire happens, the lock to the bathroom is usually made of metal and it'll be too hot to touch, so you crawl underneath. Some people might ask why you would go over the top, why not go over the top of the stall? First of all, that's really high. And second of all, if there is a fire, smoke rises and smoke causes people to go unconscious because of lack of oxygen. So the bottom is the fire escape. Maybe that's what I learned it as. Maybe that's not true, but I learned that to be a fire escape. Okay, and it has other benefits too because some bathrooms like a porta potty has like vacant or occupied levers, but most public bathrooms, like in the middle of a grocery store, do not have the vacant or occupied option. They just have a metal lock on the inside, so you can't push open the door when someone's in it. So you can see people's feet on the bottom to know if it's occupied, and if there's children who like get stuck somehow can't reach the lock or something, they can escape through the bottom, or like an adult can get to them if they're worried for any particular reason. Okay, so like there's all these factors mainly regarding to safety for it, but yes, anyway, that's why we have the opening for some of you. If there's other people who want to elaborate on it, they can. If they think I'm full of it, that's your problem, not mine. Anyway, um, so the bathrooms in Japan, okay, you're gonna see like, when I start actually, going through the slideshow a little bit, you're gonna see, woman's men's sign, and I just took a picture because I liked the pattern and the like layout of it. I can't speak for the men's side because I'm not a man, and I went into the women's side. First thing, for all you ladies, okay, in Japan, they do not have a pad or tampon dispenser, so make sure you have those in your purse when you travel, okay? I had to learn the hard way. So, of course, there's also public bathrooms in America that don't have it too, but majority of them do, okay? In Japan, almost every public bathroom has none, okay? So if you're a woman and you travel to Japan, make sure you bring your pads and tampons in your purse with you into the bathroom, because if you are hoping for a dispenser, then they do not have it. In America, for those who might be watching our Japanese, watching subtitles, or maybe not, who knows. But for those who stumble across this video, if you're Japanese, in America, many of the public bathrooms have this square box of a dispenser. You can put a quarter in, American 25 cents. Excuse me. And you can get either a pad or a tampon dispensed for you when you don't have anything on you. Okay, that's like emergency, right? So I just want those to know ahead of time. Okay, second is, I was just talking about the American doors. Back to the English part of it. I was talking about the American doors and how there's an opening at the bottom, right? In Japan, the doors go like from ceiling to floor. Okay, it was like ceiling to floor, and honestly, I felt a little uncomfortable because I'm like, what if something happens? Like, how do you escape? Like, where's the escape part of it? So that part made me a little paranoid, but like, not enough to be like freaking out. It was just like, just slightly uncomfortable. So I'm like, be as quick as possible, um, I'm just being dramatic a little bit, but like that is something that came across my mind when I was in it. I was like, how do you escape if something happens in here? So first, the door is floor to ceiling to floor. I said that backwards. They always have a like vacant or occupied sign on them. Okay, most bathrooms in most buildings are updated, and it always has a bidet. Like every public bathroom, except for the really old ones, have a bidet. And it was also my first time using that. So I had a lot of first experiences in Japan and even traveling to Japan. So there were every public bathroom has bidet in Japan. It's like I'm not talking about like the French bidet where there's a toilet and a separate seating. I'm talking about like it's all together as one. It has a noise machine for privacy, heated seats. You can adjust the pressure depending on how clean or if you just want to rinse. Um, I was a little worried that I wouldn't know how to use it, so you can use it as a regular toilet with just regular toilet paper. I personally wanted to try because I've never used one before, so I did. Excuse me, drink because I'm talking a lot. Um, I did use it because I never tried before, and honestly, I loved it. Because as an American living in New England, and what am I trying to say? First of all, our toilets are as cold as the ice age when you sit on them. First, okay? Um, and toilet paper gets used so much. Like, it almost feels like a waste. And, like, the little environmentalist in me is always, like, super self conscious of it. But I also want to be hygienic and very clean. And so when I used the bidet and I got used to it, like, at first it startled me because, you know, never experiencing it, you didn't really know, you don't know what to expect, okay? And it wasn't that bad actually. Um, but I started using it more and I use a significant amount less of toilet paper and I love that because it was more like I only really needed to like pat dry and that's what I used it for mainly. So I enjoyed that and I hope my future home has it. So um it has a lot of like luxury parts to it. The bathrooms I was in, they often had like this shelf you could put your personal items on while you did your business. So that was nice. And a lot of public bathrooms were interesting because there was like one of the times I was in a like coffee shop and it was like a one person bathroom. So you did your business and then like there's no sink in the bathroom. The sink was outside the door. So like the public watches you. And if you don't wash your hands outside the door, they all know, okay? And secondly, if you don't wash your hands, you're gross. Okay? um but the the bathroom is just the toilet, and then you close the door, and the sink is outside the bathroom, and you wash your hands for those. In bigger public bathrooms, like the ladies' room I was in, um, the sink was it's the same as America. Like you leave the stall, and it was like out from the stall a little bit. I was in a big one once, and there was also a section where like there was a lot of mirrors and stuff. It was interesting. I didn't understand what it was for, but I mean, outside of like looking at yourself, but like there was a lot. Like I didn't understand why there were so many. Anyway, so I use that. One common denominator that I've noticed is many public bathrooms run out of soap fast or they don't get replaced fast enough. So I think that's kind of gross. So maybe bring some of your own little soaps or like some hand sanitizer with you if you need to. Okay? But that overall that wasn't too bad. It was just interesting. It was different to see. I'm trying to think, what else? Is there anything else about the bathrooms? No, I don't think so. Okay, another thing is a lot of people talk about how like the shower and the tub is separate in Japan, and I think that entirely depends on where you are or if it's someone's personal home. Like I think the house is like that more versus like where I wasn't in. The shower and the tub were the same, like in America. It was in the same thing, okay? Where I stayed, the bathroom was very tiny, but honestly, that's all I needed. And I did my business and whatever. The only thing that was a disadvantage was, as a woman, I have a lot of like things like, you know, brush, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, makeup, lotions, all those stereotypical woman things. And there's not really much storage for that in the bathroom. You gotta keep that somewhere else. Okay. But like I said, I was in something affordable. So like if you were in a more luxury hotel, maybe it's different over there. I didn't have that experience. I don't know. Um, but that's really the only disadvantage to it. I I did turn the TV on sometimes, so that was interesting. It was interesting to watch the TV. I somehow stumbled across some Japanese comedy channel. So, um, and then what else did I do? I didn't understand how to open the window where I stayed. There was, my jet lag, I was like, I woke up in the middle of the day or middle of the night. It was like 2 a.m. and I did that for like the first 3 or 4 days. Um, and I heard like a huge siren. I was near a hospital where I was located was near a hospital, which is nice in case anything happens. I didn't personally need to use um like go to the hospital for any particular reason, but I didn't understand if the siren was for the hospital or if it was like an emergency siren for the country because it sounded like, if you've watched Silent Hill, like it sounded like one of those big horn sirens going like really really loud, like those war sirens. I didn't understand what that was for. And then I was like, great, there's some huge country disaster and I don't understand anything they're saying. Like it was one of those moments. It was fine. I'm assuming it was for the hospital at the time. Like I said, I didn't understand anything it said, but I heard someone talking on the speaker after the siren went off. Um, so yeah. And then oh, yes. Also, so because I woke up in like the middle of the night often, sometimes I'd go for walks, other times I didn't. And for all you ladies who like to dress up and enjoy wearing high heels to make you feel more feminine, sometimes like I do, okay? It's highly unrecommended. Okay, in Japan, their streets, at least in Tokyo, okay, their streets have those yellow squares with the big bumps on it to tend to the blind, and they're everywhere and they're gigantic. And if you wear heels, you're gonna hurt your ankles because you're basically walking over a lot of bumpy terrain, okay? It sucked, okay? Secondly, it also, maybe I was walking too fast or too much, or maybe I should have got like a little cushion thing, but the part like that goes on the back of the heel, right? That like covers the back of the heel. Um, that scraped against my Achilles heel so much that I broke through my skin raw. I was bleeding. I was so uncomfortable. And I needed to like find a band-aid somewhere because it hurt. Okay. And also for other ladies, if you're thick, okay, if you've got those thick thighs, Japan is very humid, especially in summer seasons, and humidity means sweating, and sweating means chafing, okay? And that hurt so bad. And then, being thicker, okay, as an American, I tried finding tights because I needed something to like cover that because it was so sensitive from rubbing raw, right? Um, I found a place to get tights, and their largest size, that is like large fits all, is like a medium to Americans, and I like I purposely ripped them to get them to fit just so like my inner thighs weren't chafing and hurting anymore. So, highly recommend tights or leggings if you go during the hot season. Shorts are not recommended because if you're thick like me, you're gonna chafe and it's gonna hurt. Okay, so yeah, keep that in mind as well. Heels aren't recommended. Their streets are heavily accommodating to the blind. So there's a lot of bumps everywhere, all over the place. I don't think there's anywhere that didn't have it that I went to. And one thing I did notice, which was interesting, like Americans, there's a lot of people who are blind and have bad eyesight too. But one thing I noticed, you know, strongly over there is that there were quite a bit of blind people. I think maybe they just struggle, like maybe the genetics or genes or something have something to do with it or something, but or sunlight could be the amount of sun exposure too, maybe, who knows, but I did notice there was a lot of blinds there, and it was like I don't know, like there was at least I don't know, 3 or 4 in every 10 people. Like, I know I counted at least 6 just going on a walk once. It was very interesting. It was very different for me. That was probably more of a culture exposure, I think, in my own personal experience. Um, it was just interesting to see. But one thing I really do enjoy is that, I like that they have streets very accommodating to the blind, especially because there were quite a few in that area. So it's nice to see that they do care, about their citizens and so on. And that's nice. So I like seeing that. Um, let's see, anything else? Many of the train stations have either stairs or an elevator you can use for those who don't want to walk up a couple flights of stairs. It's definitely like a couple flights all the time, okay? Um, yeah, is there any other tips? Oh, tips is not a thing in Japan. If you try to tip them, they'll give you your money back, okay? So just don't tip, okay? And then, let's see. What else? What else? But yeah, that was so interesting. There's so many interesting things, in my opinion. I thought a lot of the Japanese children were so cute, though. Like, there was a mother who had a daughter and a son with her, and I was waiting for the train to arrive. And the mother and the daughter sat next to me because there was only like 3 seats at the time. And I saw the little boy, so I got up and I gestured to the seat to the little boy, and he's like, for me. So it was cute. They were cute. Um, and then, oh, so I also went to parks, okay, and I'm in a very nature-based area, so I'm used to seeing like nature everywhere, okay? So being in Tokyo was definitely more city-like. There's buildings everywhere, not nature. Buildings are everywhere. And you're gonna see some of it in this, okay? I will stop and like talk about it when we go through it. Um, but in Japan, so where I live, the park is free. Okay, it's free to go to the park and it's small. Parks are usually small where I am. In Japan, you pay to go to the park and they're gigantic. They're like a whole village in there, okay? They're huge. So that was interesting. That was a different experience because you see a lot of buildings and you only see like the plants in people's houses and stuff. But the parks, they're beautiful. The parks are beautiful, but like it was interesting because you had to go, you paid to see nature, you don't openly see nature, okay, basically. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. Uh, there's a lot of convenience stores everywhere, especially Lawson, and that's nice. But like, I don't know. Do more research for like supermarkets. Like, like I mentioned earlier, ladies with the bathroom in terms of the dispenser for feminine products. Um, I didn't really understand where to go to find what I needed. So, yeah, look into that before going or make sure you have a stash, okay? Um, and then let me think. I stayed in a place that had one single induction cooker and a pot. And I'm not gonna have soup every day when it's super humid and I'm sweating as soon as I open the door. So that just wasn't something I was gonna do. So I often ate out or had like quick, easy things to eat. And where I stayed only had like a mini fridge. So where I stayed as an inn was equivalent to American motels, okay? Excuse me, American motels. They have the microwave, they have the mini fridge, they have the bed, the TV, and that's like most of it, okay? Um, I'm trying to think if I've missed anything. Oh, I did. Okay, so often, you know, language, right? If you know some Japanese, you want to practice, but they're the same way when it comes to English, okay? And it's kind of interesting because even if you speak Japanese, they'll still try to say something in English to you. So like even if they speak very little, and that can be difficult sometimes, especially for Europeans because they automatically assume you speak English because, I'm my hair is dark, but I'm a blonde hair, blue-eyed person, and like so are many Germans, and they speak German, okay? Um, and I feel for you. So, um, basically. So, but that does happen there. They will like not all of them do this because some of them generally just don't know English and maybe they panic a little because they're expecting us to speak English to them and maybe they're probably just going to say Japanese because they don't understand, right? A majority of them might know a little English, like because they studied it in school, but one, it's probably been too long because it was high school. And two, most of them, especially from the ones I've met, say that they have the most difficulty when it comes to pronunciation. Now, I feel for them too because English, comes from England, right? So, but there's England English and there's American English. So both of them have different accents and pronunciation and different words for certain things. So, that can be very confusing for them. So keep that in mind when you visit as well. Especially if they're trying to practice, just be open to it. I don't see any harm in it. They're trying to learn and so are you. Um, so, that's one thing to consider. Um, they do that. Another thing a lot of people talk about is like how nice the Japanese are. Okay, so from my own personal experience, from my visiting, okay, because I was there last year for 2 weeks. I'll be going back to Japan this year for three. Okay, um, last year they seemed very nice to me. Everybody was kind, and there's mixed information online about it. So, in terms of a first perspective basis, uh, yes, they were very nice. They were accommodating, they were nice, and kind to you. There's some like silly Japanese people online because I like to follow people and watch and look at different cultural differences and stuff. Some of them claim admittance to being racist, but honestly, what country doesn't have some form of racism? There's always going to be someone older, there's always going to be someone who had a bad experience, there's always going to be somebody somewhere who is like this, okay? America still has some forms of it too. So it doesn't mean it should happen. It doesn't mean it's supposed to be acceptable, but it does happen. It's there. It's known, okay? And I didn't really experience anything like that. I made the ramen guy, shop guy grumpy because I didn't have the correct change. So, like, I had enough, but it was a coin that the machine didn't accept, so he got grumpy and he had to, like, open the machine and take my money, and then, yeah, anyway. Um, so, sorry, I thought I heard screaming, but maybe my friend's just excited. Anyway, so, from personal experience, when you're visiting as a foreigner, as a tourist, they're very kind and accommodating to you. And America does that too. We have, like, common courtesy kindness. It's the same there. It's common courtesy kindness, especially in terms of a business perspective. Um, Online, some people, like some foreigners who end up moving to Japan, becoming permanent residents, they say it's like a superficial kindness, like a fake kindness, but like I honestly I don't see anything wrong with that because like people in business do that all the time. They have to, it's customer service. You have to be nice and show kindness to people if you want them coming back. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing, okay? Um, but like they also go to extremes. Like they might still be kind to you even if they don't like you, okay? And that's part of their high context culture because they want you to like feel that they're uncomfortable, but as an American, we're low context culture because we speak about things we don't like. Like, no, you effed up, you need to fix it. Like we're openly vocal about it for the most part, unless you're someone who suffers from anxiety or so on. Um, and I don't know, personally, I thought my experience was very good. I didn't really get any grumpy people. I didn't really get like the feeling of being uncomfortable from being too nice. There's those moments too, but like it's just they have a lot of common courtesy stuff. So like I wouldn't overthink things, honestly. And uh the thing about people talking about smells is true. If you're smelly, they don't like you. It doesn't matter if you have perfume or you stink like a sweaty American, you smell, okay? So they don't like any of that. They like no smell. So their nose is like hypersensitive. For us, we probably don't even notice some scents that they will notice, okay? So keep that in mind. And that part kind of sucks for me because I stink when I sweat and I went in August and it's hot and humid and I'm sweaty. So basically everyone who met me thought I was smelly. So I did have deodorant, yes, but they also consider lovely scented deodorant smelly, okay? So that part is true. Has truth to it. Um I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, currency exchange. Um, I bought a Wise card and I love it. It auto converts for you. It does take a fee a little bit, but it's honestly very affordable. I didn't mind at all. And it was so convenient and easy to use, and I didn't have to worry about anything. Okay, so I used a Wise card that auto converts currency, and it has multiple countries you can use it for. Not every country, but it has multiple countries you can use it for, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It is a little worrisome that it is not at least FDIC insured, but I mainly just use it for travel, and I What I did is I logged into my bank on my phone and transferred money when I needed it onto the card, and that worked out just fine for me. Okay? Um, and I used their ATM. Most ATMs have an English option, so you don't have to worry about not knowing Japanese if you get money from the ATM. I often couldn't understand in the store how much, like, it'll tell you how much you owe, but then when you look at the bill, it's my brain like translated the bill to be a different number than what it said on how much I owed them. So like I often didn't give them the right amount, and they will not take the money from your wallets. Okay, I tried to open it. I was like, "Here, please take what it is," and they wouldn't do it. And one guy was like, "I'm sorry, it's not enough." And the poor guy, I didn't understand what he said. Like, I got the gesture. I knew he was saying I didn't have the right amount. Um, and I think he like pointed at it instead. They won't take it from you. You have to put it on this like little. There's like this little tray. You put the money on the tray and then they take it, and then they put the money back and you take it from the tray. So it's like that tray is the middleman between you. Oh, and in terms of my weirdest experience that I had was one of the days there was a Lawson like store gas station right across the inn I was staying at. So I often just went there to buy stuff. I really like those little jelly packets. It's like energy jellies. It was weird, but I liked them. So it's kind of like how Americans have power drinks, like we have like those energy drinks. It's like that, but it was like a little jelly pouch, and I really enjoyed those. I bought those often. My favorite was the lemon flavored one. Anyway, I'm sidetracking a little bit. So, uh my weirdest experience was one of the like there was one guy once that was working there, and I asked him where the toothpaste was, and I used my translator for it because I didn't know how to say it in Japanese yet. And he like showed me where it was, and I thanked him, and it was a simple like one and done thing, and that was nice. It was easy. And then it's so funny because sometimes when you learn language, sometimes the um not enunciation, like how I say certain words can portray different meanings depending on how you say it. I'll I'll be like, that's crazy, like excitable for one meaning, or I'll be like, that's crazy because something crazy just happened. Like it's the same words but have very different contexts, right? So it's funny when people learn language because sometimes their voice doesn't adjust to the like intonations and stuff, and it comes across differently. So the another time I was there, that same guy that helped me with the toothpaste, he was very nice. He one of the phrases I did not learn in Japanese, which I thought I knew, was "Do you want a bag?" Okay, and they say it all the time, and I had no idea what they were saying. And I learned over time what they were saying. Um, but make sure you know, do you want a bag? Because they will ask you that. Um, anyway, he was asking me if I wanted a bag in Japanese, and I like stared at him blankly because I didn't understand what he meant. And he said it in English. He's like, "Do you want a bag?" Like it sounded so grumpy, but I knew he was very nice. So like sometimes the voice and the translation when you say things sound worse because it was deeper and it didn't have like a lot of, I don't know, emotion behind it, I guess. So he sounded like he was very grumpy when he said it, but I don't think he was grumpy at all. I think he was genuinely just asking me. So that wasn't my weird experience though. I mean, I just think that was a funny experience. My weird experience was a different person who worked here on a different day. And I don't know. I think he was probably my age or maybe a little younger. But a lot of Japanese have younger looking faces than American anyway. Um, so yeah, I asked him, it was really hot out and I didn't have anything to cool me down. So I wanted to see if the convenience store had like a hand fan. So I was trying to look for it, couldn't find it, but sometimes I just miss things when I was there. So I went up to the counter and I translated it. I was like, "Do you have a fan?" Like, and I gestured like this to myself, and he was saying, "No, we don't." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then I just, because I bothered him, I decided to buy something from the store, probably one of those jelly packets I was just talking about. And I went up and uh he gave me like my things in a bag and stuff, and then he was handing me the receipt, so I had my hand out to receive the receipt. And let me grab my phone. So like this is my hand, right? And he's about to give me my receipt, but he does like this to my hand, and he's like arigato, and he's like thank you, and then it was like an awkwardly long moment, like this holding my hand. It was an awkwardly long moment, and as an American, it was a little weird, but it wasn't like offensive to me. But like in their culture, that is sketchy, okay? That's like sketchy behavior. So I was like, this guy's a little weird. So- but that was like the weirdest thing I experienced. And then in terms of I went to a few places, and in terms of places I liked, I really liked Shinjuku when I was there. That was my favorite place out of all the places I've been. Especially the Shinjuku Gyeong Garden, which you will see in this, because I'll show you in a minute. Um, my least favorite was, well, okay, there's two things. Okay, so Japan has like brothels, and they have, I don't know if they call them red light districts, okay, but it is basically a red light district. And I I didn't like Shibuya because to me it smelled like people peed on the walls, okay? And I didn't like that. And then oh, I am broadcasting, right? Oh, my boyfriend's like, I'm double checking something. Okay, yeah, all right. Making sure I'm online because I got worried. So anyway, um, so Shibuya was actually my least favorite because to me it smelled like people peed on the walls outside, and it smelled like, if you go past a restaurant that's like a steakhouse, you smell like that smoke and stuff. It was like that mixed with urine, and I just didn't like it. Maybe I was just there on a rough day for Shibuya, so maybe I might try to give them another chance when I go to Japan later this year. But I didn't like it last year when I went there, so hopefully my experience is different this year. Especially because it'll be cooler when I go this year. I'm going later, so it won't be as hot as it was last year. So I I didn't like it for that reason, but I was by Shibuya Crossing, and I was in like a mall or something of some sort, and um excuse me. I was looking for souvenirs, and I found like these cute little name tags. I don't have one because my name is not popular enough. Anyway, I found like my mom's name tag, and it was written in kanji with a little cute little bell on it, and it was in Don Quixote. They call it Donki in Japan. That's how they often refer to it. Um, and I didn't want to go back to Shibuya, and my older sister's like, I want one. And I was trying to find another Don Quixote somewhere else, so I didn't have to go to Shibuya. That's how much I tried to avoid it. Um, so I found another. My phone says there was one in a place called Okubo, And I traveled to Google by myself. It was interesting because it was kind of out there. It was farther out than I've been. And the station was outside. It wasn't underground like I've been in. It was outside. And I had to, I kind of walked down. I was trying to figure out where to go. And I had to like cross, like where I live, it'd be like a trestle. You going underneath a trestle, a train trestle, but I don't know if that's what they would call it there, but I had to go underneath that. There was graffiti on the wall, so graffiti's not just in America, guys. It's over there too. Um, so I had to go through that, and then I could, I was an American who's very alert when it comes to safety, especially in our country, right? You can kind of tell when you're in a dangerous neighborhood. Like, you can tell, right? So, Japan's one of the safest places in the world, but like, I was in an area that I could tell makes me think of home, okay? And I was like, oh, I'm in a questionable neighborhood, and I could tell. And then I went down the street, all right? I went down the street, and the street had Love Hotel, Ramen Shop, Love Hotel, Love Hotel, Love Hotel. That was literally like as I was walking. It was a row of Love Hotels, okay? And then I want to make this known that in Japanese culture, they're very conservative, so they do not accept many like a lot of women admire that about America because we often wear what we want, right? But like they will not show many body parts. Like the most they do is like mini skirts and maybe like a little bit of midriff. They won't show their shoulders, and they won't show cleavage. They won't show that. So down the street that had like Love Hotel after another, right? I was walking and there was a woman in high heels, in a tank top, and her underwear with no bra, smoking outside. And I'm pretty sure she was a prostitute. And I walked by her and I'm like, okay, I need to get out of here. Because I could tell I was in a neighborhood that was not okay. And I could tell, like, I knew where I was, but I didn't know where I was. Right? And, here we go. Um, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna stay in this area for long. And, like, shortly after I saw the woman, I ended up making eye contact with a man, and he started walking towards me, and I'm like, oh god, he's walking towards me, and I'm in a sketchy neighborhood. I chose to ignore him, and then his direction, like he was like walking towards me like this, and then I ignored him. He's like, which went strongly in the other direction. I'm like, oh thank goodness. So they won't bug you, like they won't come up to you unless like they think you think it's okay. Like I said, I made like eye contact with this guy and then I realized he was coming near me and I'm like, nope, I don't want him near me, so I looked away. So that was an interesting experience as well, to find out they don't even have the keychain. Like I finally got where I was to my destination of Donkey, and they didn't even have the keychain anyway. So I went to back to Shibuya, which I was trying so strongly to avoid. Hi, welcome in. How are you? Today I chose to talk about Japan and my experience. I've gone over quite a bit so far, so you're coming in right around the time I'm about to start my little image slideshow of all the photos. It's a lot of photos I've taken. But yeah, so that was my experience for all of that. And I think I covered most of it. If I have something that I remember, I will let everybody know. So this was New York. Oh, no, wrong direction. This is New York when I went to JFK. It was my first time flying. I've never flown before, and I chose to do a 14-hour nonstop flight from JFK, New York to Haneda, Japan. And then, whoops. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm gonna do this. I took a lot of pictures. I'm well, thank you. I took a lot of pictures, so everybody bear with me while I go through it. I already spoke a lot about Japan at the time, so, before starting the photos, but yeah. Did you go to a baseball game while you were over in Japan? No, I didn't. I went to, I went to a few places. I visited, you're gonna see some photos, but I went to Team Labs. I went to Rainbow Bridge, the giant Gundam statue. Where else I went to a movie theater. I went to the Imperial Palace, and I went to Yoyogi Park, which had the Meiji Temple, and a couple of other shrines. Oh, that's one thing I didn't talk about was so they have like shrines and temples, but the temples are like the big ones, and then the shrines are like little areas you can pray along the way. So those are fun. Those are fun. I did not go to a baseball game though. Um, I'm not sure if I would know where to find one or if it was like mainly like school or I think I would have to know someone who was interested in baseball for that. My boyfriend's interested in baseball though, so maybe he might do that with me later when I go, because I'm going to see him later. Me taking a picture of where I was going. I can't remember if that was America or Japan. I think that's Japan when it was first seen. I think this image is of Japan when I first saw it. Clouds! It was a nice photo of clouds, so I kept it. Okay, that one I know is Japan. And then we're landing. It was such a weird experience landing in the because the when we landed, I had to get off the plane in the like airport parking lot. Like they put a stair ladder up to the plane, and then you get off the plane, and then you get on a bus, and the bus takes you to like the like airport building where you go through security and customs, and that was so weird because you stand on the bus, and I haven't experienced that. I'm in a privileged area where everybody gets a seat on the bus, and if all the seats are full, you wait for the next bus. So, um, but everyone stands over there, and I was like, this is dangerous. So, I just took random pictures of things in the airport here. Sakura Mobile I used for like mobile Wi-Fi and everything, and it was so nice and easy to use the whole time. I loved it. I made sure I had a battery pack though. This was like a lifesaver for areas I was in and my phone was dying, and the Sakura Mobile thing at the time I had a pocket Wi-Fi, so I needed to make sure I charged that too. This time when I go, I have an iPhone that is officially unlocked, so I can just put it on my iPhone this time, so I don't have to worry about it. This was inside subway stations. It was very nice and clean in the subway stations. I enjoyed it. It was so hot to go in August, though. I don't recommend going in August, like, ever. Ever. There is an ad starting in 2 or so minutes, so everyone knows. I did visit, I didn't mention this earlier, but I did visit Akihabara, which is like the anime town, like it's famous for anime and all that stuff, and I did not stay because it was so overcrowded. It was hot, and like every store was like a long line. You had to wait in such a long line that it didn't seem worth it. I left. I left. I didn't visit Akihabara long enough. This, I have a couple Japanese friends. I just thought it was cool looking for the advertisement, and my Japanese friend said that I took a picture of a whole bunch of host clubs. Like these are advertising for host clubs. So. But it's kind of cool that I took a picture of that too, though, because that's like very culture based as well. Um, a lot of gacha machines, they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. This was like a place this was in Akihabara, if I remember right. And it was like a whole room of these. But like you can go in any other malls and stuff, they have like a little row of them all over the place. Oh yeah, vending machines I forgot to mention earlier. Vending machines are like I'm bad with distance. I don't know, 10 between 10 to 100 feet. So like you walk up, I don't know, 2 minutes, there's another vending machine, like every 2 minutes. They're all over the place. So like if you're thirsty, don't worry about it. There's gonna be another vending machine nearby. They also had like ice cream vending machines, cake vending machines, cigarette tobacco vending machines. I didn't really see much of the alcohol ones. The only one I saw was like a mix of coffee, alcohol, and water was like in the inn I was staying at. Not so much on the street. Hibiscus flower, it was nice to see that. Here's one of the vending machines. That was on the street. I personally liked coffee with milk the most, so I often got that. I also learned that I don't like barley tea. So water, because I went in August and it was so hot and humid, water went fast. So, you always have to pay attention to which one has the water. Those little circles on there, I don't know if there's a way I can draw on them. You'll see like below the cans and stuff, there's like little circles that would have like the numbers. They will be lit up or not lit up if they're out. Or like it'll have something with it, like with an X or something. I don't know what kind of flowers those were. I just wanted to take some nature. This is one of the shrines I went to. What is the name of this shrine? I forget. I forget the name of this shrine. Um, phone places I went to. Oh well, the place I went to was called Narima Asahigoka. Asahigoka. For some reason, it's not telling me the name of the shrine. So just that area. So this is one of the shrines. I kind of just stumbled across this one. I was taking a walk and I just came across a shrine and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go adventuring. And if you guys are like anime fans, you know how in animes they have like summer scenes and you hear cicadas in the summer scenes and there's like a lot. Well, that is accurate. Okay, and in Japan when I was there, I heard the cicadas and they're like 100 times louder than the anime. They're really loud. There's so many of them. Um, this is the same place. There was a little walkway you go up and then there's like a little gateway. I was I was just adventuring this day. I didn't like actively plan to go here. I just decided to walk up. There's one of the cicadas. It was huge. It was like, yeah, it was like the size of my face. Almost the size of my face. It was gigantic. They're so big. I liked seeing the signs. I really love like ancient Japanese architecture. I love how it looks because it's so creative. And many other cultures too, like Chinese culture or like in Bali and stuff. I love how different the architecture is. I wasn't quite sure what this was. I think this is like the buckets you use to clean graves and shrines or something. I wasn't sure, but it makes me think of the little when you like throw the water out. So I didn't know what it's for, but I took a picture of it. There's like little statues of each of those. I think maybe those are deities. And I wasn't sure what this was, but my assumption was maybe they're like passed on loved one names or something. But it was cool to see. Like, it's cool to see all these old wooden tabs with names on them. Yeah, and you can tell they've aged too because they're quite pretty worn down as well. It was so nice. It was a nice little shrine to go to too. I liked the little bamboo wall you can see here, and I one of the things that I didn't do was go inside temples or shrines because I didn't know if I was allowed to. It was hard to tell. I didn't know if that was like something you have to call in advance for, or if they like I didn't really notice any signs anywhere. So I just took pictures of the outside of most temples and shrines. Excuse me. There's the bamboo wall. It was cool to see though. I just thought it was cool to actually see the bamboo wall being built. Nomonji Temple. That's what that one was that I was at. I took pictures of places on my phone so I would remember. This, I took a picture because, being an anime dork like myself, there's so many animes that have like this scene in them, like this scene, and that's something that's actually there in Japan. So I just wanted to picture that. This one I thought was interesting to see all the little stairs. This was a different cafe, I think, like a different kind of culture cafe, I believe, and that's why the stair patterns were different. I don't remember why I took a picture of this. Maybe I was trying to see if it was like a business I could go into because I didn't understand because it's like a garage door and then the other one doesn't look very inviting at all. But there's a sign right next to the door that's like talking about boba teas. So, I was traveling farther out with my friend at the time. He was showing me where he grew up was. So this was udon, okay, and one of the cultural difference things, being an American, is the Japanese use raw egg, okay, and that's not something I do. That's something that frightens me unless it's in cookie dough. um, so the udon is what this plate is, okay, and I got like fried seaweed, not seaweed, fried squid, a crab patty cake, and I think that was like fried chicken. And the udon you can get like the fried stuff was like a kind of like a little buffet. You pick up the ones you want and put it on your plate. The udon you can get hot or cold. I got mine cold at the time, I think, and I received the egg that goes with it. And I was like, why did they give me a raw egg? And then my friend's like, you put it in udon. And I'm like, raw? I was shocked. And they're like, yeah, it's okay. And he was like, it's not like American eggs. That's what he said. So I was hesitant at first, but I decided to give it a try, and it wasn't that bad. It actually made like the broth thicker, so it was nicer to eat. And then they put like a Rice Krispie cereal, like plain Rice Krispies in it to add some crunchy texture to it. So that was interesting. Um, more flowers, some more flowers. My difference in steps between days of being in Japan, I typically walked around, because I'm a sad soul, around like 300 a day or like 3,000 a day, depending on the day in America. And I went from that to 16,000 to 17,000. I think my highest was like 24,000 steps in one day in Japan. So they walk a lot, and it's probably because of the public transportation, but I personally really loved the transportation. These are like those little dango snacks you see in anime. I wanted to try it. It was like a it was like a sticky gesture. It's like a sticky marshmallow if I had to describe it in a weird way, and that's not chocolate. That's something else entirely. Like if I had to do my best to describe it, it was like it's not chocolate, but if you like combine like chocolate and soy sauce together, it's more like that for flavor. I went to Sarah Beth's. That was the closest thing I could find to like a Western breakfast when I just really wanted like a fruit salad for breakfast. It was a really nice place. It was just very hard to find. And I found it after I gave up looking for it because I decided to go up an escalator and there it was. So that was my breakfast. This is the bacon I was talking about earlier in the video. The bacon is not like American crispy bacon. It's it's like slippery like that. It's more like Canadian bacon. It's more like ham. Um, this was nice. This was a nice fruit salad. It was mainly that was mint, strawberry, bananas, and I think a little bit yogurt on the bottom because what I originally wanted had granola, and they told me that there was nuts in the granola, so I couldn't have it. I didn't know the words for seeds at the time, so they didn't want to risk it. This was like my whole setup of everything I ordered. Um, I think I liked the coffee, but for me, I usually like sweeter coffee, so it was just a little tad too bitter for me, but I still liked it. This is Dutour. I did like their coffee, but I liked a specific kind. I liked the one that's like vanilla ice cream on it. It was like a float. Uh, I don't remember where this is. Sorry. Oh, this is a manga cafe. Okay, and that's one of the things I forgot to talk about earlier when I started this stream was one of the things I learned from my friend at the time is that manga cafes and animes, they show it just like as a place to read, and that is true. Like there's lots of manga to choose from. It's kind of like a manga fan's paradise. Okay, all in Japanese, of course. And you have to they have rooms. They have like private rooms you go into for the manga. It can also be like used for a private study. But I learned some secrets, and sometimes the rooms are used for men when they want to privately watch porn, and other times, apparently, couples will also take advantage of it being a locked room to uh, misbehave. Okay? So I learned that from my friend, and one thing I thought was very interesting that he said was that the manga cafe actually has a shower there. They have a public shower. Okay, you need a membership to get in, and you do pay to go in by, I think, the hour or something. And you get a private room, it locks, okay, and this is like the desk area. You put your stuff on the top, and there's the computer down below, and then there's like this like leather-based seat you sit on, and then that is kind of floating, so your shoes can actually go underneath the like seat a little bit. They also had like this like ice cream machine and coffee machine. It was interesting. So this is like the inside of the room. This is the seat I was sitting on. You can see my knee and my foot, and the shoes go like right in the little bit of the doorway. And that's like what we sat on with the pillows and the cushions. And then these are all the manga options. And that's not even all of them. That's just a good chunk. It was like a whole manga library. It was super cool. I really loved that part of it. Oh, I just noticed they have little baskets you can use. That's cute. And I poked around. I found a couple mangas I knew, but I'm not fluent enough in reading the Japanese, so I kind of just looked at the pretty pictures, So, um, but yeah, uh, big camera is often where my friend took me to. It's a very big like tourist store to buy souvenirs like Don Quixote. I don't remember where this was, but I thought the architecture of the building looked interesting, I think, so I just took a picture of it. I liked the fountain, so I took a picture of the fountain. My head there. This was inside a restaurant. I don't remember if it was Chinese. It might have been. No, I don't think this was Chinese. I think it was like, I don't know, Indonesian or something. I felt I didn't so those little like stick things on the lettuce, I was like, what is this? I think it was like radish or daikon, but cut into like square cubes or square cube stick things. It was weird. It was weird. Pokemon Go, naturally. If you're in Tokyo, there's so many Pokestops. There's so many. This says Chizu Suwaru? Swaru? I forgot what that is. I forgot what that meant. I think that was like cheesecake bread, roughly. Um, I didn't like it. So I didn't like this either. But I'm a really picky person with food, so don't let me deter you from trying anything. This was like a pudding cup, but it was like whipped cream. I don't like whipped cream, so I didn't like this. It was like whipped cream, like a little chocolate pudding, and then it was like jellified fruits. It was like the fruits were like jelly made somehow. This was like their explanation of how they separate trash. I took a picture of it because this was in the inn I stayed at, and I'm like, I don't know what's what. I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble for not separating my trash. And some trash is not on the list, and I'm like, where does this go in? So I didn't understand where it went in. So I took a picture of it to help me with the separations because it's a lot more specific. Specific. They have glass, they have plastic, they have cans, they have paper, cardboard. I think they have commingle, and they even have food as separate trash. So like there's like everything. Metals, there's separation for everything. And this is like the bins showing you all the different ones they do. They have so many bins. This is Tokyo Skytree. That was very crowded when I went. It was really crowded. You're gonna see a picture of like Pokemon that I took of statues that was on one of the floors. They had some cool stuff in there. It is kind of expensive, so it's definitely a tourist attraction. Yeah. These hermit crabs were inside that Tokyo Skytree. Just so you can see so many of them. This is a Pokemon statue I was talking about. That was like so many floors up. It was fun to see though. It was fun to see with the kids. That I forget the name of the Pokemon, but that little black, yellow, and white one there, like right below the claw, I won that. I have that and gave it to my friend here in America. I learned something about myself, and I've learned apparently I'm really good at these games. So I have good spatial awareness. This was one of those arcades. They have so many different versions of like the crane games or different types of games like that in these areas. I don't remember where it was, but I think this was supposed to be like chicken Alfredo, but they made it with like spaghetti noodles. So one of the experiences I definitely had in Japan was that they have a lot of food restrictions. Like in America, we have a variety of options, okay? In Japan, it's not the same. It's not the same. This was the entrance to Shinjuku Gyoen Garden, and it was my absolute favorite. There's also an ad starting in less than 2 minutes for everybody, so you know. I loved Shinjuku Gyoen Garden, and it's gigantic. Okay, I couldn't even see all of it. I didn't end up going back. I wish I did. But I love taking pictures of it because, I like Studio Ghibli. It's Studio Ghibli, but we say a lot of us in America say Studio Ghibli because it sounds cuter. It's like many scenes in that movie. Like you can see the bench and all the vegetation behind it, mushrooms growing from trees, like these big leaves. Like, how does that not look like it's from one of those movies? Like, I love those giant leaf plants. And also, just bear with me a moment. I just want to check my phone real quick. Ah, I'm messing things up. That's the wrong button. There we go. Okay, one moment. Okay, back to it. Oh, my back. Okay, so let me go back into this so I can see what I'm talking about. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so going back to this, back to that. But yeah, so this is Shinjuku Gyoen Garden. I took a lot of pictures here, so there's a lot of nature based. You pay to go see nature. You don't just freely see nature, and I'm spoiled by that where I live. So, I love seeing the vines climbing up the tree. I love the shape of the tree. Okay, the shape of the trees are so different. Like, look at that. That's so nice. Oh, and it's huge. Like, look at that human being down below in the red shorts. Like, he's tiny compared to how big that tree is. It's gigantic. Big open field. The clouds were really nice this day, too. It was really nice. I took a picture of my friend and I angled it perfectly where you could see the cool shapes of the clouds. And anyone who does photography knows that certain moments are vital, otherwise, you'll miss it, right? And I took a picture, it was so great. And you want to know what he said to me? He was like, "This is a horrible picture. You took a picture of nothing." I'm like, "What?" He clearly didn't have a creative mind enough and he deleted it without my permission. I was so mad. So mad. Because I took a picture of the clouds behind him. They were so cool. But yeah, that is a little gazebo where you can rest. I love the trees. I love the shape of these Japanese trees. There's me next to one, but it's so dark. And then I realized, even though the picture of me by the tree is so dark, there's a rainbow above me, and I was surprised to see that. I was like, oh, there's a rainbow in the photo. This is great. So that was so nice. Even though the image is so dark, but I could adjust that later on if I want to. I can edit that. And then this is like the same tree, but a different angle. Like it's the other side. Yeah. And then I tried my best. So there's a lot of people in Japan, right? And you're gonna have a hard time taking pictures without people in it. So you have to adjust it perfectly. So like I often tried to take pictures within seconds before someone was like about to walk by. So this one I thought was nice because she's wearing a kimono, and you don't often see people walking around daily in the kimono. That's like something they do for special events because it's old, like old cultural attire. Okay. Um, yeah, it's just me taking pictures, more pictures of nature. I can only talk about nature so much. But this park is gigantic. Like I couldn't even walk through all of it. It's so big. Okay. This is just a tiny like this is like a quarter of the park. Okay. You know how like in America amusement parks are huge and you have to like you need a map to know where you are. Like this nature park is very much like that. I love the Japanese bridge. I did my best to take a picture of it before people came by. So, tiny little Japanese bridge. That was cute. This is like a bigger picture of the pond overall. And this is my favorite shot that I took of this area. Like all the vegetation, all the nature, all the flowers. It was a lovely shot and this is like one of my favorite photos. I love it. This was their water fountain. I wonder if I can zoom in. Oops. Sorry. So this is their water fountain. It was interesting. Like this tall thing fills up your water bottle, and then they have like a fountain for your feet, and then they have other parts of the fountain, and you push it like sideways. It was really interesting. Benches. Okay, so one weird thing about this park is there's a Starbucks in the middle of the park. That's a Starbucks right there. That was so weird, but like it was like that's like a bathroom area too, so you can go to the bathroom and you can go to Starbucks and just get a coffee in the middle of the park. And then there's benches you can sit around. So they had a lot of pathways everywhere. Sometimes the pathways were like Like those, that one's bricked, and other parts of the pathway were like gravel, and other pathways were like dirt. So it's fun that they changed it up. I still love the trees, and the clouds were super cool that day, like I said. It's a nice, like as an artist, I love this because I love all the crazy branches and leaves and everything in it. This is another one of my favorite shots. I love how clean it looks. It's a really clean shot of this tree with a nice background of the pond and everything. Like, I'd love to paint these, and I might one day. I ended up going to that side of the pond eventually. That's as far as I made it. Because I'm a weirdo, I like to take pictures of the ground too. I don't remember what's going on here or why I took a picture of it. Maybe just because it's different or the tree was interesting. I don't remember. This one, this picture, those trees are huge, just like that other guy with the red shorts compared to the tree. These trees are gigantic, and it goes down like it's like a long, long walkway. There was like a greenhouse thing or something at the end of it, but I arrived too late to the park in the day to actually see what it was like. So fortunately I couldn't do that, but maybe sometime in the future. So here's the long walkway I was talking about. But those trees are huge, like they're gigantic. Like I'm an ant compared to these trees. Yeah. But a lot of it's like, oh, this is me trying to like go on the ground just to give like perspective. A lot of these areas, like this area currently was leading me to like the famous, oh, hello, taxi. Where you going? Cat came in. Um, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. So where this area was leading me to like one of the famous parts of the Shinjuku Gyoen Garden. It was a very nice like set up garden that it's well known for. I didn't know that at the time. I think I took a picture of this because the bark was so interesting to me because it was like peeling, and I was curious to know what kind of tree it was. Me being weird. You can see how scraggly my hair is because of how humid it was outside. So humid. I went down these steps, and that led me into this big open garden. This here, you can see the start of it. I took a panoramic view too, so you'll see the whole thing more. The stairs I went down. This is like a part of near some roses I liked. I liked seeing the roses. They did have signs in English so you could understand what it was. A lot of places did have English signs in many areas of Tokyo. Here's a panoramic view. So like that's the left, like it was a fork, like it was sorry, not a fork, it was a T. So like the middle is the like crossing of or the stem of the T, and then the two sides are like the whole T. I was on like the top part of the T like this. Um that's the panoramic view I took of it. There's me in the middle of the garden. Just for like this garden's gigantic. Okay, it's huge. And it's lovely. It was a lovely garden. And like I said, it was my favorite, one of the favorite places I went to. Me again. And again. Oh, I took a picture this angle on purpose because, well, that was the fan I was using. That's not why I took it. The grass was interesting. The grass in America, our grass often like, how do I explain it? It's like it's often like dewy. It's like usually our grass is like wet, but like their grass almost feels fake. It feels like that like moss growth thing. It feels weird. It feels like more like stiff, like if you made like a little bottle and put grass on. That's what it feels like. It was interesting. Me again, me again. I liked the sunset in this photo, so I took a picture of it. I wanted to take a picture of the Japanese bridge. I was trying to do it without the humans on it, but as you can see, I was not fast enough. Little gazebo you can rest at. This one has a bench, and there's like, they have like a bamboo. bamboo ladder thing for the plants to grow on right above the bench. I thought that was interesting. This is the gate. They're yelling at everybody. It's time to leave. And then I forget where I was in this photo. Hello? Wanna come up? Can I help you? Can I help you, Taxi? No, you're just gonna sit there? I think he's demanding food, but I don't have food for him. Oh. Wanna come up? I'm sorry if you feel I ignore you. Um, I don't remember where I was here. I think we were going adventuring or looking for dinner or something because I was often asked what I wanted to eat. It was weird because often I knew what I wanted to eat and then I'd forget what I wanted to eat and then I'd be like, I don't know. So there was a pet store. That dog was in the window. Just chilling in the window. He's like, hello, human. And there's other animals in the pet store so you can see them through the window. I liked the design of the little circly things in this photo. I think I wanted to take a picture of the garden, but I see more of myself in this photo than I do the garden, so that didn't work out. I have no idea. I know what the side part, the tiny text says Tokyo. So I was in Tokyo somewhere. I don't know what that says off the top though. Got some steak fries with some eggs and I think corn. Looks like corn, so this must have been I forgot what it was called. But it was like a American food steakhouse kind of place. Just forget what it was called. And it was good. I think my friend just wanted something different because he's used to eating Japanese food, and he's like, "Let's get American food." It's like, okay, but he ended up getting octopus, which was my first time trying octopus, which I learned to like, but it's really chewy. Um, yeah, so that was good. And then we just walked around. I think through some stores. There's some Mickey and Minnie, and cute little yukatas. I don't remember what that was for. I just took a picture of this because it was different than most of the signs in Japan. I think this might have been a Chinese restaurant. I can't remember. I think it is though. Don Quixote. The elevator has this on it, like that's the elevator door, so I thought that was cute. This photo, I just wanted a unique photo with the coffee and where I was because we were like upstairs somewhere. Like we had to go up into the building to get there. And this day was a typhoon. I experienced a typhoon when I was in Japan and it wasn't that bad. Like it's like I don't know. I'm in New England, so I experience a lot of weird and strong, powerful weather anyway. And hello, welcome in. And I experienced a typhoon while I was there, and because I live in New England, I'm used to like crazy weather. So it was like really strong winds and just the rain was like more than usual. Um, I didn't really find it that bad, but like I didn't find it that bad, but like also like when if you live there, maybe you experience like more intense versions of it. I just happened to experience one typhoon of many that they've had. How long were you in Japan for? Last year I was in Japan for 2 weeks. I was in the Tokyo area. I will be going back for 3 weeks later this year. But this was my typhoon day, so that was interesting. Then it lightened up a little bit. Some trains do shut down if there's a natural disaster happening. So if you're in an area you were farther out, plan for another hotel maybe if you need it. My story in the beginning of this stream when I was talking about the bathrooms, this is what I was talking about. I just liked the way the layout was set up that says men and women on there for the bathrooms. Have you been to Japan? I liked this teacup. I thought it was cute, so I took a picture of it. This, I my boyfriend went here recently, so it's funny. He sent me a picture. I'm like, I think I've been there, and I looked through my old photos, and I was like, oh, I was. I knew it. I was here. And this was still the day that the typhoon was happening, but this was like, how do I explain this? This was like an outdoor mall, but it had a roof. Like it was a roofed outdoor mall. It was interesting. And I really liked the ceiling because it was like very colorful, and then the signs you can see they're like all little suns as you go through, and colorful balloons. I liked the way the advertising was in this place. It was cute. I did come across one of the days I was there. Unfortunately, I wasn't close enough to get a photo, but like I did come across some kind of famous boy band in Japan. I happened to have been in the area when they were playing a concert, so that was interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have photos of that though. So this was nice. Oh, I love these. I love the steam buns. They were delicious. Okay. These were so good. I love those. And then I had a experience those greens you see on the side there that I kind of have hidden with the wisteria of the overlay. Um, I was with my friend when we ordered food, and he's the one who ordered the greens, and I asked him in Japanese. I was like, "What is that?" And the server thought I was asking him, so he was answering my question. And then as an American, we look in each other's eyes when we're conversing. That's polite, right? Well, in Japan, they don't do that. They avert looking in your eyes because I think to them, they think it's more rude, or like they don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. So, a minute starts, or ads start in a minute, just so you guys know. But so it was interesting, and then I realized he was talking to me, and I look at him, and then I think I scared him because I was paying, like, to him, maybe it felt like I was staring darts into his soul or something. Um, but I was like, thank you. And he's like, you're welcome, bad off him, we ran away. So it was interesting. But I love the steam buns, and I found out that that was, I think, seaweed. I believe that was like a seaweed salad. I don't remember where I was here, but I was near some bay and it was really nice. It was very big open, and Japan's an island, so there's a lot of areas that are very, it's in the ocean, right? Where I'm from, I have to travel to see the ocean. So like you could smell the salt water, so that was nice and refreshing, I think, and it was relaxing to see the sunset go down. Like you can see it between these buildings in this area here. It was really nice. It was me in the sunset. So there's a big difference between this photo, right? And this photo. Like this looks much brighter. So I thought that was interesting because the phone auto adjusts. So this I thought looked really cool. It looks like if you cut like a portion of it off, those buildings with all the lights on, right? And then the sunset and then the water, it looks like a professional image in my opinion. So I thought that was cool. So nice. So nice. That was the moon. That was so bright. That was the moon that day. I wanted to compare the moon to the building. Look how big that building is. And it's so interesting to see the lights because, that's like people's apartments, right? And you see the apartments that turned on. So like the building has all these lights on. And it's not all of them. It's just some of them because, they're apartment complexes. So it was interesting to see that too. As you can tell, I don't live in a city. I live in more of a rural area. This was just I think this was another park. It was really nice. It was really nice, relaxing, cool time near the ocean. It was nice. This was inside a restaurant. It was a cute, tiny little Japanese garden, so I liked that. It was good. Pork katsudon. I loved it. I loved the breaded fried pork. Or it might not even be fried, it might be baked, I don't know. But the breaded pork was delicious. And I, in America, don't like cabbage, but they use cabbage for everything in terms of salad. Their salad is that shredded cabbage you see right there. And they have like a sesame dressing, and that's delicious. I actually really enjoyed it. But our salads are like, they're like lettuce, tomato, cucumber, carrots, onions. Like, we have a lot of veggies in our salad. Their salad is like that cabbage. That's it. That's all that's in there. Sometimes there's a little bit extra, but most of the time it's just that. So our country has a lot of variety, and they don't, it's not the same for them. But it was delicious. I loved it. That dish in the middle with the leaves on it was like rice, egg, I think that was beans or something, and something else on top. A lot of, like I said when I started this stream, their portions are the same as Americans. They just put them on separate dishes so it looks like less. And they also only eat till they're 80% full for the culture in general, so they eat less. We don't eat less. Like, but the portion size is the same. Like, we just put all ours on one plate. They just separate theirs. That's the only difference. Unless it comes to drinks. The drinks are tiny, okay? This was just inside like some mall, and I thought it was interesting. They just had a tiny little like fake door, so I took a picture of it. The statue here is some kind of artistic statue, and it reminded me of a dragon, so I thought it was cool to take a picture of. These are interesting to me. Almost like every place that's like a park to walk through has these. I think it's to prevent cars from driving in. People have to walk around them, and that weird one that's like open like this much, that's for people with bikes to walk through. And maybe you're only allowed to walk bikes in the park, I'm not sure. I was in this was my friend's hometown. He was showing me his hometown. We traveled out of the way to see it. Oh, whoops. Same area. Like a lot of canals. Black-eyed Susans, some sunflowers, but they're facing the other direction, so I could only get their backsides. This, we walked down to the rocks, but I'm not sure what that sign means, but I think my friend said it's dangerous or something. Found a crab. Took a picture of that crab. It scared my friend. He's afraid of animals, but I'm like, I want a picture of you. So I got as close as I possibly could to this crab. Made him come out from his home so I could take a picture. Yeah. Look at those hairy legs. So. This was a nice shot, I think. It was like a long walkway with a bridge across, and the clouds were nice in this photo too. Like, there's a lot of nice photos I took, even though it's stupid humid and hot in August in Japan. I apologize if I go too fast for some of you. A lot of trees had this. There was like little tags on them, and I didn't understand what they were for. It doesn't look like, maybe they signify when they trim the branches or something. Like, we have those tags, but they're usually like orange striped ribbons sometimes. So I was wondering if it was related to that maybe, but I'm not sure. That is a picture. If you look through the trees, that's Tokyo Sky Tree. I'm just farther away, so you can see it from a distance, depending on where you are. That's Tokyo Sky Tree there. Oh, no, maybe. Oh, wait, is that Tokyo Sky Tree? Yeah, I think he told me it was Tokyo Sky Tree. It's just, it's an area near it. Or something. I don't remember. Crane! There's quite a few cranes there. That was cool to see. The nice little park to enjoy the water. They had a lot of places to enjoy the water. This, they call this barbecue. So this in Japan is barbecuing. In America, our barbecuing, when I think of barbecue, I think of the grill outside with like steaks and burgers and corn, okay? So for them, this is barbecue. They're inside and they cook thin pieces of meat. I tried some new items this day. One of those pieces of meat that I tried eating was apparently cow tongue. So, um, which actually wasn't bad. It tasted just like any other part of the cow, honestly. It tasted like beef. Okay. It wasn't that bad. I did not like I always forget the name of it. It's like the stomach lining or something. That was gross. I didn't like it. I took a picture of the statue here. I like the statue. Same for this. I don't remember what I was taking a picture of here or why. I took it for some reason. Maybe I just want to know where I was. Old traditional Japanese umbrellas. I wanted to take a picture of that. Godzilla is that weird statue thing in the back there. It's not the big one. It's just a miniature version of Godzilla. This machine has Evangelion. Let me the anime. Let me zoom in so you can see it. You can see it better. So like here, right there. Evangelion. Evangelion. Jillian? So it was fun to see a themed vending machine because I didn't see very many themed vending machines, and I knew that was something they had there, so I was excited to finally see one. This is an example of one of the subway maps. This is usually in the part before you go on the train. So it talks about like the times and everything when they arrive and the stations at the times they arrive. Same for this, it's like just reiterating it. And this is just a closer closer view of this. I think this is also the same, just on the other side, but like closer stations. I took a video of like, I took a video of those yellow squares are for blind people. I spoke about them earlier in this video. They're everywhere. They're in the station, they're on the stairs, they're on sidewalks. They're literally everywhere. They're very accommodating to the blind. This was in a mall, I think. I forget where I was for this, but it had like a lot of cute like little miniature universe setup things. There's Tokyo Skytree. Oh, there's a rainbow. Or maybe that's the sun ray. Kind of looks like a rainbow though. It's still cool either way. When I was here, there was a woman who fell on the stairs, and thankfully I saw a couple other people ask her in her language if she was okay, and I was like, oh good, okay, they're helping her. 'Cause it's different when it comes to older people because you might scare them as a foreigner depending on what their experience was in the past, depending on their age, So, this was a cool shot. Took your sky tree with the sun and the clouds, so I took a picture. And again, yeah. This was on top of Tokyo Sky Tree, and it was weird because there's tents there. Like, people are living on the top. It was weird. It's weird. There's a lot of homeless in Tokyo, Japan. I did see it. That is something I did see in Japan. I didn't understand why they were homeless. Because everyone I asked don't really understand why, like, everyone who's a native doesn't understand either. Some people say maybe it's because they were in prison before, or other people say maybe they just choose not to receive help from the government because of honor and pride and stuff like that. So I did come across a homeless encampment at one point in time when I was in Tokyo, but it didn't feel right to take a photo. Like, that's, they're homeless, one, and two, it felt like a strong invasion of privacy. It just didn't feel right. It felt dehumanizing. So this is top of Tokyo Skytree. I think they call this the dome or something like that. It didn't really, it was kind of just that, honestly. I walked up to that and I left. I think I took a picture of this because of whatever that statue or architectural item was. Some more flowers. Oh, this was interesting. Okay, there's one of my experiences was I got to see performing animals, but I wasn't allowed to take pictures of them or videos or anything. One was a monkey, a trained monkey doing tricks, like parlor tricks, so that was fun to watch. And then I didn't see the tricks from another one because it was too late by the time I walked by the guy, but he had like a pet otter that I think does the same thing like with parlor tricks. But this was a ramen shop and they had fish tanks outside. Those are fish tanks. And I was like, well, that's interesting because they're basically out on the street. And I was like, that's weird to see. So I took a picture of that. And because I thought it was interesting to see at the time. So, let's see, let's keep going. Keep going. I liked the shape of this building, I think. Oh no, it was the lamp. So, like, I took a lot of things that remind me of, like, the Studio Ghibli movies. I took a lot of pictures of things that remind me of that. This was the ramen shop I mentioned earlier in the stream that I made the chef grumpy with. So if you look, you can kind of see pictures of items over there. There's a machine that has buttons you're supposed to put coins in and press to get a printed receipt, like a printed piece of paper that had your order on it, and you give it to the chef. But the only coins I had at the time was one that wasn't allowed. There's a big sign on the top that says, now 500 yen. And that's all I had. Because what else, the other parts I had were not enough to get the food. And they didn't have a card option. It was one of those places that you did need cash for. So, but he just opened the machine and took my money. So he's like, I'm not gonna lose out on the sale. So he just took my money. This is the ramen dish I mentioned earlier in the stream. It is huge. Look at those gyoza. That's a normal sized gyoza and that bowl of ramen. That's what I mean by the portion size is like the same, okay? It's gigantic. And it was delicious. And that ramen that I ate here, it didn't have noodles in it. That is actually bean sprouts. Those are bean sprouts. But it was delicious. Flowers. I really liked pudding. I love this pudding. It's delicious. It's caramel pudding, and I love it. And it tastes like coffee to me. It tastes like coffee to me. I just saw stickers randomly on a pole, and that kind of is here in America too. There's like always stickers on the like traffic lights, so they have that there too. I thought this was a cute little walkway, so I took a picture of it. Actually no, this was some guy's garden, I think, in his yard, like next to his house. It's like his own personal garden. Uh oh, this up here, that black car right there, that is a Tokyo taxi. That's a taxi in Japan. I like the English ivy. English ivy's nice. This was Yoyogi Park. This is like Yoyogi Park's like the entrance in the Meiji Shrine or Meiji Temple. Sorry, not the shrine. Meiji Temple is in the middle of Yoyogi Park. So I took a lot of pictures of this because it had a lot of like old culture, old Japanese culture, and I really liked that. So I took many pictures. I met another friend at the time. It was a weird course of events because he was in Australia and he happened to have been going to Japan the same time I was on vacation to Japan. So he asked me if we could meet up and meet for the first time, and I was like, sure. So he took me here. He took me to Yoyogi Park. It was just one of those weird faded moments. So I really loved this, so I took a picture of it. But there was Can you see it in the old ones? No, not yet. So you can kind of see like it's like a courtyard. It's like a big old square, right? And this is leading up to an open area, where it's like the deity room. It's like the sacred room. You don't go into it, you just pray to it. And there's a big, one of those big drums you see, um, in there. You're not allowed to take pictures of it, but you could see it. It was cool. It was cool. I really recommend going here if you're looking for like old traditional temples. Um, this is like I think a lot of people's wishes. They purchase the item to write their wish on and then they hang it up. So that was cute. I liked the little like talisman between the trees. That rope there you see. So lovely. I love the gateways. The gateways are beautiful. I love those architectural things. This tree, I took a picture of this tree, and if you look at it, it looks like it's smiling at you with the roots. I took a picture of this. They have a lot of like bamboo structured water systems, which is pretty cool, I think. Salamander. Also another one. So the difference between colors. This is the same day, mind you. So that was pretty cool to see. They were all over that Yoyogi Park. Like I said, there's a lot of people. Tokyo is a very populated area, so it's hard to take photos without people in it. So I was just careful. I don't know what this is, but I thought it was cool, so I took a picture far away and close up, which you won't see yet. I don't remember what that is. I think it's barrels on the other side. Here's the thing, the close up of it. Like I said, I don't know what it is, but I thought it looked cool. It was very artistic, so I chose to take a picture. Another angle of it. I liked this, whatever this fence was leading up to the bridge. There must be a reason they put it there, though. Maybe a lot of people kept falling in or something. This guy, this guy there crouching on the ground with all that paper, he was making signs. He was an artist doing calligraphy signs of your name, selling this sign. It was cool. I didn't have enough funds at the time, otherwise I would have bought one from him. I don't remember why I took a picture of that. Maybe that was one of the places I went to eat, probably. This image was interesting. So this architecture is neat because that shiny part that looks like mirrors, like that is the architecture, but it's like it's open at the top. It's like wide open and it's got trees and stuff growing out of it. It's nature. So I think like if I went into the building and I went to the top, like it'd probably be like a park on the top of that building. It's wide open with trees and everything. It was cool. I wish I went in, but I didn't. This was a very this I don't think was a temple or a shrine. I think this was someone's house. I took a picture of it because it's very like feudal era architecture. I don't know where I was for this, but I kept seeing like "I love you" signs everywhere, wherever this was and whatever it was for. Okay, this I'm back in Shibuya. I'm by Hachi, the dog that waited for the owner at the train station, who has a dedicated statue to him. It's not this. That was a statue nearby. This is Shibuya Crossing, that's famous and known all over the internet. Um, okay, I do want to say that Shibuya Crossing is crowded. If you're driving through it, good luck. Okay, and they like when they cross, like they even have like professional photographers taking pictures of models and brides right in the middle of the crosswalk. Like they stop all traffic even if the light is no longer green. Like you see that light there, sometimes that turns red. Um, this is still Shibuya Crossing. I know I took a picture of the statue. Maybe I just didn't come by it yet. Uh, Mega Donkey is what that says. Mega Donkey, so another Don Quixote. They're kind of everywhere. I went to Imperial Palace, and I thought Imperial Palace was interesting because, as an English speaker, when I think palace, I think of like something grand and like castles and like my mind goes somewhere else, right? And this was more like a park. It was like more like a park. It was very interesting to see. It was very different than what I thought it was going to be. So this was just a nice area nearby. And then I'm walking up to it. Oh, I didn't pick. Oh, I did take a picture of the gate, but I guess I didn't put it in here. So I walked up to it, took a picture of the door and the gate and everything. I took pictures of all the signs. This was the moat. It has a moat. Okay. So this is the excuse me. This is a nice image of the moat that was there. I really like the like stone walls and the trees and everything. Um, Another angle of it. I don't remember what that was. Oh, here's the gate. Okay, I knew I took a picture of the gate. For some reason, some of it was outside. Or maybe those were like signs talking about it. I went up to the gate and there's like a security guard there. You have to give him your belongings so he can look through it to make sure you're not bringing anything dangerous inside. So like it has a security check and he's making sure. So like don't bring anything embarrassing, right? So he'll open it, he'll look through it, and be like, okay, you can go through. That's all they do. Uh, I I don't think I paid. I don't think I had to pay for this. I think I could just walk in, but I expected to pay. Because there was a booth. Maybe it's because of the time of day I went. I don't remember. This was, like I said, it was kind of like a park. This was more like a park to me, like in America park. Shinjuku Gyon was gigantic. That was like a whole village. Okay. This one to me is more like an actual park. Like but this was the Imperial Palace just for like context differences. So like I said, I thought like castles and things because palace, that's what I think of, but it wasn't like that. Like this was a I angled this to look tall. Okay, this wasn't very tall at all. It was just like a lot of rock walls starting, and it was a lot of like pathways you can walk through. There's some water fountains. This was like the most interesting thing I saw in it, and that was a mosaic, and I really liked the mosaic. It had really nice artistry in many areas of Japan. More signs. This was like, um, so this is the bottom of climbing up to like an overlook. It was like the place, from what I remember getting out of it, it was like the place people did the like watch or look out for like back in the day, when you would call when enemies are arriving, stuff like that. I was walking up there, and it's a pretty steep climb. It's not very far, but the climb itself is steep. And that's the same mosaic place I looked at that I thought was nice, and I tried to zoom in as far as I could without like ruining the quality of the image, just to give you a better picture of it. It was really nice mosaic. This is the top of the like overlook. It doesn't it doesn't view as far as you would think it was. So like those lookouts, they had some good eyes. The little bamboo forest inside there, I thought it was nice to actually witness a real like growth of bamboo, and it was cool to see the patterns of it. Some vine crawling up it. Same here, those bamboo shoots. This tree is like sideways. It's growing sideways. So that was interesting. This was their cellar. This was like where they stored food and stuff. And you're not allowed in. You can only see from afar, but it was interesting to see. It almost looks like a bench to rest on. And then this pathway, so this was a pathway off the main pathway. And because I'm in a free spirit, it's like, I'm gonna go this way because I want to know where it goes to. Okay, I'm that person. So, um, thankfully, I do have a good sense of direction, so I know my way back. So, but I went on the off path, and then it led me to, well, that I just zoomed in because I liked it and it looked cool. I went up here and it led me to another like overlook, and it was for like where archers would shoot arrows through the window, and they hid behind the bars. You'll see them in a minute. This was like near the top of the hill as I was climbing up. That's the actual path, and I'm like, I'm gonna choose the other one. So, but it led me on to a new adventure, and I came across this building. If you see in the windows, you see that there's slats in the windows. Those are because it used to be for archers to shoot arrows through them. And then going through here, that's like, is that the beginning or the end? That's either the beginning or the end. It was beginning, because then I walked through this on the inside. There's a lot of like structural part of it, and basically it's like a museum nowadays. So there was one guy there. I think he was surprised to see that I ended up there alone. Like I was just going through it alone. But it was cool because they had like little sheets telling you about it. It's written in Japanese. Sometimes there's English, but most of the time things are written in Japanese. It's telling you about the areas and what they are. And it was nice to see through, and when I did my best to look through, I could see like the castle, okay, the castle in this area. So I could see it. And then I walked back down the path. Once I was done, I took a picture of this, I think because of the rock wall and the roots. You know, I see a lot of things because I'm an artist, so if I see potential in certain things from nature, I like to take pictures of it. Sometimes what I think that was the name of the tree, or maybe that's the name of the path or something. But a lot of areas had the name of the plant in Japanese and English. They had like little cards like that on a lot of plants, trees, plants, flowers. This I took a picture of because I saw it in the ground and I noticed it. I have no idea what it says, but I'll figure that out eventually. I just thought it was neat to see. This I went in and there was a crow in there and it was like following me around. It was weird. There was a crow, and then but that path you had to like go around and in the back, and then there was a nice building architecture. This sign here actually is talking about it. You can see an image of it here. I wasn't allowed in though. They shut it down, I think, because of COVID or something at the time, maybe. But this is me outside it taking a picture of it. I took a picture so the best I could on the top. It was really nice. Some more flowers, more of the same path in the Imperial Palace. It was a lot of walking in the Imperial Palace. It was nice wall structures, those were cool. That's a tall wall structure there, and those are tall. Those trees are like the bonsai trees. They're trimmed nicely. And then this, I was told that this was like a guard house. All the guards and like security guards would sleep here or something, and that's where they would go. I just really like old architecture. This was telling us about it. I think this is one of the signs that had some Japanese and some English. But yeah, so that's farther away for the same place. I just walked around because I was seeing where the path was leading to because I was curious. I think that's the same guardhouse. More walls, more trees, like a kind of like a fortress. It was more like a fortress, I suppose. I tried to get as close as possible so I could get the circles. There's a pattern, a design in the circle of the like roof. They like carve little images in them. And this was like somebody's house in the middle of the palace. Somebody lives there, so like somebody important lives there. I took a picture of the lantern of this. I thought that was interesting. Around this time, there was a staff on bikes riding around the park saying, "Closing in so many minutes," like in Japanese. And then, yeah, more walls, lots of walls, lots of rock walls, and walking. The moat, I left like I was leaving now at this point. That was a better view of like the gate, but on the inside. I was walking around and I saw some like bulletin boards and I wanted to get pictures of like very like cultural and natural posters that are on bulletin boards in Japan. And as you can see, there's an there's an anime poster and there's a Sonic the Hedgehog and some other things. It was fun to see that. This was another shrine I went to. What does my phone say? I get distracted. Okay, so where is this? This is. I gotta scroll down in my phone photos. I've gotten through a lot of photos with you guys already, chatting about them. Keeps going, keeps going. That's Imperial Palace. Here it is. Okay, this was. No, it told me the shrine before. Now it's like I'm not gonna tell you the shrine anymore. Ah, here it is. Okay, sorry, not shrine temple. It's Saishoji Temple where I was here, and uh, it's in Shinjuku Kamiochiai. Okay, just picture me. I looked good that day, so I took a picture of myself. This was cool. I saw the tree and then I saw the bamboo set up to water it. I thought that was cool. More flowers, more trees, statues. I know this word. It's not a tenku. Is it tenku? It's that little raccoon in Japanese folklore. A I know what it is. I just don't remember right now. Sorry. No, tenku is like the crow one. It's gonna bother me. I need to look it up. It's gonna bother me. I know what it is. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't get it. Tanuki. I was so close. I said tenku. It's a tanuki. Um, yeah, it was fun to seeing. And then I noticed this. It was interesting to see that. The setup. This was nice outside. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know if I was allowed inside, so often I avoided going in the temples. But it was just as nice to see them outside too. This has a graveyard in the back. So I wanted to take a picture of the graveyard. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. Oops. Every time. So like this is the temple, right? But behind it, if you scroll in, you can see like all these sticks. Those sticks are the names of people who've passed away. This is a graveyard. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was very interesting. But yeah. Okay. I really liked like I'm assuming this is very significant, but I love how this looks. Tanuki, the tree again.
and I think that was the sign at the entrance. Some more plants. Just me walking, and then I came across a park nearby, so I was like, I'm gonna see what the park is like. This, I think, is supposed to be a river. It's really dried up in this image, like there's only barely any water in there, but because of how wide it is and because of the moss you can see, I think depending on the season and the tide, I think determines how high this river goes. Because I'm adventurous, I decided to go up those. I was like, where does this go? So I went adventuring this way too. And there ended up being like construction in the middle of it. I tried my best to take pictures of wildlife while I sat. So most of the things I saw for wildlife without going to like the zoo in Japan was pigeons. That's like it. It was like pigeons everywhere. And the parks, I saw a lot of butterflies. So I wanted to get pictures of the butterflies for natural wildlife because I barely saw any when I was there. A cute little origami frog some kid put inside a bulletin thing. Some more plants. I think this was interesting to me because I think this is like a rundown school and it's so old that the plants started climbing over it. It hasn't been maintained, but it's cool to see how nature was like taking it over. So I took a picture of this because I liked how it looked because it was so unique for that reason. It was so unique with all the vines like taking over this old school that I'm pretty sure was run down. I don't think they use this. This had a nice weird pattern on the ground, so I wanted to take a picture of it. I just came across the pathway and I'm like, well, this is different, so I took a picture of it. This was also different because I didn't know what. Whoop, every time I keep doing that. I didn't know what this was for. I assumed maybe it's for the plants, but if I zoom in, right, there's like little bags of random things everywhere. I think they're like bags of soil. Maybe they're trying to like grow the plant on these vines. But then like this fence has like some barbed wire on the fence. So I don't know if they're growing something for profit or not, but like that this was one of the most interesting things I saw in Japan. And I was like, huh. I was like, I wonder what that is for. It's like, what is that for? And I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm gonna like discreetly take a picture of this because I don't want to get yelled at by someone I don't know. But that's weird. I didn't know what it was. But it was interesting, so I took a picture. I took a picture of this because I liked the patterns on this building. Like, some buildings have very, very, like, nice artistry, and that's why I took pictures of them. Lots of flowers, taking pictures of flowers all the time when I was there. This was a shrine. It's not a temple this time, it is a shrine. I don't know what kind of shrine this was, but my phone claims it was an elementary school, so I thought that was interesting. This has like the fox god statue for protection and the like a little shrine gate there. So I thought that was interesting. And they have the like prayer box. Let me zoom in. So first, the little fox statue, so you can see it, right? You see the fox statue there and there, right? But when you zoom in far enough, you see the gates and protective, and then they have like a little prayer box, I think. I think there's like a prayer box there. You pray to the whatever god this is. But my phone claims it was an elementary school, so I'm assuming it's the building behind it. So that was interesting too. This sign I think gives more details, but it's very worn down, so my phone couldn't really translate it. I probably just took a picture of this because I liked how it looked. This is when I was in Ukubo. I mentioned that in the beginning of the stream. I happened to be in a questionable neighborhood. And this was an interesting statue to come across. So this I think is like another shrine. And if you look, this also has like barbed wire gating on it. So I either they like don't want vandalism or like foreigners are ruining it for other foreigners because they're nuts, okay, or something. But like this also has like barbed stuff so people don't climb over instead of, but like there's a wide opening space right there underneath, so who needs to climb over it, right? So excuse me, let me get another drink real quick. But yeah, so I don't know who that is. I assumed it was like, I don't know, maybe part of the Shinto or Buddha religion because those are the most popular ones over there. But this was in Okubo, and when I started this stream, I was talking about how I came across who I'm pretty sure was a prostitute and a neighbor where, or a neighborhood where it was a love hotel, ramen shop, love hotel, all on one street. So this is like before it. This is the ramen shop between all those love hotels. Okay. And I'm like, I need to get out of here. I can tell I'm not in an area I should be in. Maybe I should have gone in the ramen shop, but that I was already intimidated enough by the street alone, so I didn't bother. This was, I think, outside one of the shops. It was cute because they're like, these are little paper creations, so you can see like Charizard there. That's all made of paper there. It was pretty cool to see that. Little paper sculptures. This was when I landed in Okubo off the train. Where is this? I don't remember where this is. Oh no, I think this is still. Is this still Okubo? What are you? Oh no, I'm back in Shibuya in this one, because that's a tribute to Hachi. Oh, this. I don't know what these are for. What are these? Japanese people, if you watch this, what is this? Why is this like this? What are these weird hook thingies? Like, that one's down, but these two are up. Is it to, like, prevent your car from rolling out? What is it? What is it for? I didn't know what it's for, but I took a picture because I was like, I need to know what this is. And then I had udon again. So I did enjoy udon, so I liked having it. So I tried it again. This is a man sewer in Japan. And it looks like a face going, ah, to me. So I wanted to take a picture of it. Like, it looks like a Mario figure. Or a sewer grate. That's what it's for. It's for rainwater. So I took a picture of it. And, oh, wait. That's to drain. So these are just the sewer grates, right? That's drain. This is the man sewer, and it's so cute. It's got a little sakura flower, and it's small. Like, you can see my foot comparing to that. They're small. They're not huge like ours in America. This is the women's only cart on the train. No men are allowed. If you see this pink sign, if you're a foreigner or a man, if you see this pink sign that says woman only cart, you're not allowed in there if you're a man. And the reason they have this is because often Japan has gropers, okay, and they make women very uncomfortable. So women are the only ones allowed on this cart. Don't get on it if you're a man. You're gonna make many women very uncomfortable if you do. All of them are pink like this. Every pink sign in a train cart that's like this on there is a woman only cart. Okay. This was a cool in one of the stations. Some of the stations have nice art, so it was fun to take pictures of them. Not all of them, only some of them. This was a big station, so like they have 4 directions, and there's an upstairs and downstairs, and I'm like, my friend was late meeting me that day, and he's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm here. He's like, no, you're not. I don't see you. And I'm like, I'm here. And then I forgot I moved from where I was. So Don't do that in the big stations. But yeah, so we figured it out. That's Rainbow Bridge. We were heading to Rainbow Bridge. This place, I wish I remember the name of this place. They're delicious. If I remembered the name, I'd give them like a 5-star review. Oh, that was so good. It's like teriyaki sticks. Yum. This is the Gundam statue I mentioned. It's huge. It's like it's it's not as big as the Statue of Liberty, but it is gigantic. Maybe almost as tall as the what is it, Lincoln Monument? No, maybe Washington Monument. It's huge. It's gigantic. The Gundam statue. Stairs that were like all lit up as a rainbow, like the colors mixed. If you're epileptic, don't go here. So, and then there was my favorite anime is Case Closed, When Truth Prevails. In Japan, its original name is called Conan, and it's still running in Japan. Apparently, there's over 1,000 episodes, and in America, it stopped. I think at like season 2. It was only like 52 episodes, so I haven't even got to finish the anime. But that character is the one on the poll there because they advertised the movie, and I actually got to watch the movie. I think it was called like White Coat or something. Yeah. Backside of the Gundam statue, and then Rainbow Bridge again, and we were near the ocean, so we just enjoyed the view at night. It was a nice night view. And then I found out recently, apparently this is Tokyo's government office, which I didn't know, and we were on the 50th floor. So if you're afraid of heights, don't go here. And one thing I said earlier is that, like, in Tokyo, it was like building after building after building. You pay to go see nature. Basically, you don't just see nature, you pay to see nature. You can see nature here because we're up high. That's like one of the parks nearby. But if you look, Tokyo goes so far out with all these buildings, like this image here. You can see all the buildings right away. If I zoom in, there's more buildings, and more buildings, and more buildings, and more buildings, and more buildings, okay? Like, there's so many. Like, there's a lot of buildings there, okay? This is how high we were. You can see the cars over on the right here. If I zoom in, you can see how tiny the cars are. Like tiny little human on a bike. So back up. We were up pretty high. This was like a cute little gift shop inside when you're on the top. Oh, that picture of that like fish-shaped building I took earlier too, so I was somewhere else. So a lot of places in Japan, or a lot of buildings or like architectural structures, many of them you can see in different areas you are in. You can see them as like major landmarks. So this is like, yeah, this is like a lot of view of Tokyo in that alone. That's to show perspective of how high up we were. Um, that's one of the parks. You can see the park clearly, and like I said earlier, the parks are gigantic. Okay, so like that's huge there, and it looks so small from the building. Uh, Here's another good one of buildings. Like you see the park, you see some tall buildings, you see some more buildings and housing development, more buildings, more buildings. Like look at this. Look at this. These are all buildings. And look how far out it goes. It keeps going. It keeps going. Out that far. Out that far. Like that horizon is still buildings. It's still buildings. Me at the top with all of it behind me. The park again. Some more perspectives. And if you go around, it's like a circular view. So if you go around far enough, here it is. I think I took a picture of Mount Fuji, but you can't see it because it's foggy. Like you can see the mountains here. There's mountains. but I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure if it's Mount Fuji. My friend thought it was though. They say Fuji-san is how they say it. This I thought was cool. Like the design, I thought was cool. I also thought the design here was cool. It was interesting, and there's like statues in this. It's like a garden of statues. It was interesting. I don't remember. I think that's Skytree again. I don't remember why I had the photo. I also went to experience a tea ceremony, and I loved it. I got to learn a lot about the tea ceremony culture, and I got to wear a kimono. So, okay, so first of all, there's they look the same. As an American, I would not understand the difference between the two. Experiencing it, okay, one's a kimono, and what Americans call a kimono is like anything that looks like this. Okay. Americans think anything that looks like this is a kimono. Okay? But experiencing it in Japan, there's kimonos and then there's yukatas. And the difference is kimonos have multiple layers and they're usually worn in the winter and colder seasons. So, mind you, it's hot, really humid, and I wanted to experience wearing a kimono because it's something I really wanted to do. It was a terrible idea. Okay, it's so thick. I think I had like 6 layers on. Okay, like look how blocky I look. Like I'm thick anyway, but like I look like a square. Okay, because they put on like a white layer, then they wrap me up, and then they wrap me up again with another white layer, a belt, another belt, and then another layer, and then like that colorful part of the kimono and the obi that goes around the kimono that's green there. Okay, it was a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers to this kimono. And I couldn't wait to get out of it. Okay, it was also, I got them thick thighs, so when I sat down, the like kimono was like opening and I felt so uncomfortable because I couldn't keep it closed. I had to like kneel in a, like I had to kneel in a certain way and I wasn't comfortable, Americans, their legs go numb when they sit the way the Japanese do. So I had to shift all the time. I just couldn't sit still at all. Um, Yukatas are like a kimono, but they're meant to be worn in the summer, and they're much thinner and a lot less layers. So that's the difference between the two. This has like 6 layers to it, and a yukata has like one or two. Okay, there's a huge difference. I bought that hairpin. I have it. I just don't feel like getting it. I bought that hairpin and I compared the hairpin to the kimono option patterns and I wanted it to match, so that's why I chose that kimono. This was a display that they had with the utensils used for tea ceremony. So I wanted to get a picture of that tea ceremony. Traditionally, they said both the host and the guest, I think, participate in it, or maybe something along those lines. And but they were teaching us it's a ceremonial method to it. So they taught us how to do it, and I was complimented for my matcha making. So I felt so proud. So, and people genuinely like have this as a job, like the like their whole life's work is the tea ceremony, like to other people. So that bowl with the little green powder is matcha. Okay, and when they put hot water in, you take that whisk, and there's a method. You have to like flick it lightly multiple times until it gets a certain texture, and then you go the other direction just to break up the powder, and then you do like one spin, and then you let it go in the middle. It's like they're nitpicky with it, like we are with our espresso and the designs. And then the smaller dish has candy. One is just like straight up sugar, and the other one is like It's like red bean paste inside like a little powdered wonton with powdered sugar on it. And they say that often a sweet treat was eaten first before drinking the matcha because it's not good otherwise because there's caffeine in it. So it was nice to hear about that. It was interesting. This is me and my friend doing it. He had a hard time with it. And this is the woman who was explaining it, and they always have, in this photo, she's talking about the scroll on the wall, and they said that the scroll is the sacred part of the wall. Nobody goes there. They always gesture to it. I also really like taking this photo too because it shows traditional Japanese art paper doors right behind her if you look closely. Here's a better image of the paper doors. That was lovely, and we're actually on tatami mats as well. So, and they were really comfortable, actually. And she told us a story about the tatami mats. Part of the reason, or there's something. Oh, you're not. She said you're not supposed to step on the lines of the tatami mat. You're supposed to avoid them. And she said because in history, the ninjas used to shoot weapons between the mats, and that's how they would assassinate people. So that was interesting to learn too. That was my matcha when I finished. It was complimented. There's me. They had a Japanese garden where you could take pictures of yourself in the kimono. I took my friend out of most of these images because, many Japanese don't like their image shown and we don't really talk anymore, so for the most part, I kept him out of it. So, me in a Japanese umbrella in the Japanese garden. I was picky with some of the photos. Like I said, I look blocky in the kimono. They tug, they tug the back of the neck down. So they open up the neck, and I'm like, boy, I got a chunky back of the neck. But that's okay. They tug it down because that's supposed to be like part of the beauty of the kimono. I like the tree. And team labs. We're getting near the end of the slideshow, so I'll probably end the stream pretty soon. So I went to team labs. They let you use your camera, I think, mainly for photos and stuff. They let you do that. They know it gives them like the advertising and stuff. So you walk in for like you first walk in, they tell you to take off your shoes and you put them in a locker. Everybody gets a key to a locker. And it's really fast to walk through this, okay? You go in groups. You don't have to follow the group, but like most people it's like a line. It's like a group of people and they go in a line. Waterfall, um, this is the waterfall, and the water from the waterfall goes down this belt thing, and basically everybody's feet get washed as they walk up before they move on to the next room. So, and then you dry your feet off. So that was interesting. This is me in a room that was like filled of like twinkling lights that were down. I was so bloated and everything that day. It was not a good day for me that day. But I paid for the ticket and I was going for it. This is me taking a picture of those twinkling lights, but like up towards the ceiling. And they changed colors too. Like it wasn't always like this white, clear, rainbowy color. See, this is me taking a picture of myself. There was mirrors on the floor. As you can see, like that's the floor. And I took a picture of it because now they're purple. And I thought it was interesting to do a different angle. Green, And it was kind of hard to direct yourself. It's best to follow people because it's hard to find which direction you should go in. Depending on the direction you take, it's kind of like a maze. You'll end up somewhere else. Eventually you get to the end the same way, but yeah. If you're claustrophobic, it's highly unrecommended. Don't go here if you're claustrophobic. Also, I liked this room. This room was interesting. So these are like images of koi fish. It's like a projection of colorful fish swimming around from the ceiling, basically. But it's a room full of water.
it's like knee high. So if you go to team labs, make sure you're wearing like high shorts or a skirt that you can lift to walk around because this is a room full of water up to my knee. Okay, and it has like a little bit of fog going over the water, and it has like this the projected images of the fish swimming. Okay, it was cool. It was my favorite, one of my favorite rooms in this thing, but like that's advice for people who go. Okay, it's a fast walkthrough, but this is me trying to get better image of it. Best I could have done. And here's like the open space room. You can see everybody else. They all have water up to their knees. You walk through a room full of water. This is like a big balloon room with all the colors that change. You can see the colors starting to change. I took a picture of it as it shifted to green. Now it's blue in the room. This, okay, so I don't know if I was allowed to do this, but I did this. So this room was interesting to me. I mean, it was interesting to look at, but I was like, it has to have some kind of interactive element or something. So what I did is I poked one of those silver things and it made like a little jingle sound, like a bell. It was like a bell when you poked it. So I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if I was allowed to do that. Maybe it was like a warning bell. Who knows? But yeah, that was interesting. So that's what I did. It did make noise when I touched it, but that's most. You can see the sweat dripping from my bangs in this photo. It was so hot. Like I said, it was a rough day for me that day. It was a cute picture of a child, and I just thought it was cute. It'd be nice, like, to draw. And this is a security guard there. This is when everyone's. This is the last room of the labs, okay? And it's one of the things it's most famous for. And it's like. There's. A lot of rooms had, like, mirrors on the bottom. On the floor, okay? This room had, like, fake plants hanging from the ceiling, and it would shift up and down in different ways as the whole mechanism went up and down as well. And people love that, and they like to enjoy it for the moment. They'll like lie down and look up, or they'll do different things with it and images and stuff. Um, People get timed for being in this room, so that guard that we just walked by or went by with the images, he sets a timer for the group, and then he's like, everybody out, and it's like 5 minutes. Okay, it's not very long, it's very short. Okay, but it's a nice room. I did my best to take a picture of it when all the humans were gone, which is this photo here, so it came out really nice. And my friend at the time, he's like, you're really good at this, because it doesn't take long for people to get in there. So it's like, take it right now, before everybody gets in there. And this is what it looks like without anybody in. So all the plants are hanging, and because the floor is mirror, it looks like it's like a pond full of flowers. Same for this, like the same thing. So this is a closer image. This is like what it looks like when you look up. And this is me looking down into the mirror on the ground. Just for perspective. And then this shows that the plants were down below, right in front of my face. And then all the plants like went up and down. This is before I went back home. This is me in Shinjuku, Gion, and that other. Am I missing? For some reason, maybe, oh, because I was organizing photos, and some photos I didn't keep because I didn't like them. So there was a place that's in Team Labs that I ended up taking the photos out of in terms of my batch that I want to print and put in like an album. Um, and it was like a room like this, but like the floor was mirrors like of many of the rooms, and the top was like a domed ceiling, and it had moving flowers on the top. But I struggle with motion sickness, and it's not the moving image. Sometimes first person perspective games do trigger my motion sickness, but it wasn't the image of the flowers. I discovered, because I could tell, because my motion sickness was triggered, that the floor was turning. It was a turntable flooring. And I was like, I need to get out of here. I was like, I don't feel good.
So, even lying down was not enough. So I was like, I want to go to the next room. And I told my friend that. He's like, okay. And I was like, how do we get out of here? It was hard to know. The one thing about Team Labs is it was hard to know which direction to go in. They did have like people open doors after a while, but like if you want to like get out of the room sooner, it's hard to find that. But yeah, so that is all my photos for it's not all my photos. I did take some out. These are my best photos from when I went to Japan. But yeah, it was fun. I'm excited to go. Last year I went to Tokyo area. This year I'll be going into the Yokohama area because my boyfriend is Yokohamanian. No, I don't know the words for it, but he's from Yokohama, so I want to see the area. So I'm excited to see him. And this is when I was in Tokyo last year. Just quickly go through them all. Oh, I went too fast. It's buffering. Yeah, it's gonna take me forever. So I'll leave it. This was so delicious. But yeah, the cart, food, cars, things, and more things, and more things. So yeah, that's all of my images of when I was in Japan. For now, I am picture happy, so I will be taking more images for my next trip. So hopefully that was insightful. I might have forgotten to talk about some things, but I think I was able to talk about most things. I think I was able to talk about most things. So hopefully I didn't forget a whole bunch. But yeah, anyway, that's